Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Magnum, and this is Downtime in the Hangar. It's a podcast about Gundam Battle Operation 2, and today I'm joined by GamingEmblem,
Hey guys.
Gustav the 13th, and GndmManiac.
Hello.
So,
What up?
let's go ahead and start with some introductions. So, who wants to go first?
I mean, I don't mind starting out.
Okay.
So, guys, I'm GamingEmblem. I stream video games on this website called Twitch. You probably haven't heard of me, but we've been doing it for a while, and probably about a year and a half now, give or take a few. So it's been going well. Play RPGs and stuff like that. But we like the game. We like the game.
Let's see. All right, I'll go next. I am Gustav the 13th. Been streaming for about 2 years or so. Actually started going really hard on Pokemon Go when I first started, and then GBO2 happened. Bit the bullet on that and just didn't look back since.
No, I guess I'm next. Hello, my name's GndmManiac. I started streaming. Oh gosh, what has it been like? Almost a year and a half, 2 years now. I have no idea. Can't keep track. Anyway, I guess I'm not streaming at the moment because woohoo, can't get anything working today. Other than that, I guess that's about it. I don't know. That was a horrible introduction.
Hey man,
Dude,
it's good.
As good as you think it is. Okay.
And then I'm Magnum. I just started streaming. It's almost been a year. In November it'll be a year. I started doing stuff like Path of Exile and stuff, which technically I could say I'm old school. When I did stream a little bit back on own3d.tv,
Right.
but
You have a longer pedigree than I do.
so that was I streamed on that for a little while playing League of Legends. But other than that, yeah, I play pretty much just about anything. But right now, I'm pretty much focusing on a lot of Path of Exile and Gundam. Other than that, though, WoW Classic. That's a thing that took my attention. Probably will get me back sometime here later. But other than that, though, yeah, I play a lot of games. So cool. Anyway, so first topic on the list we got is ranked. Want to go ahead and talk about that a bit?
Well, yeah. I guess I would say first and foremost, who all here has actually who all participated in the last ranked event?
I have.
I actually skipped it.
Wasn't in the game yet.
You were smart.
I participated in it, and it was easy eights and E-Freak customs everywhere.
Yeah.
At the time, I was watching
it was,
Flailthers, and he was just like so turned off by it. I was like, well, I'll just wait it out. Eventually, they'll end up in the RT shop, and lo and behold.
But yeah, I mean the whole thing is just a grind fest. But just to kind of, do you want to like want me to talk about it a little bit? Just kind of put it in some context for anybody that might not be familiar with it.
Yeah,
I
go ahead.
think you should.
Yeah, for sure. So just for anybody that wasn't playing back then, if you read the note, like the most recent notes gives you a pretty good idea of how it worked before and the changes and stuff that they made now. But essentially, it was a preset like cost and group type. It was 6v6 whatever, and you essentially like kind of like how you get points within the match. You collected these rating points or ranked points or whatever they were called, and you got them for like participating in the match, and they grouped each person into individual brackets based on your actual in-game ranking, very similar to how it is now. So like there's the D rank, C, B, A, so on and so forth, and it puts you in a group of like Maniac, do you remember how many people it was? I think it was like
I thought it
20?
was. I thought it was either 12 or 20.
I think it's
I
still
could be
20
overshooting.
also.
Yeah,
From the-
it's 20 right now.
Okay,
So
chat telling me it's 20. I think it was still 20. But essentially amongst that group, whomever had the actual like highest number of RP got one of the prizes that they were giving out, and it varied from like the different tiers of the free suit they're giving out. It pretty much the reward structure works just like it does in the current event, where whoever's like first place gets X, Y, and Z. Second place gets X and Y, and third place might get just X. And the way you grinded those points is to play matches in whatever the preset game type was. And back then you could free farm forever. Like if you were like no life, no job, straight up neat free farm kid, you just grinded matches back to back to back, and you could like top the charts, and you got it. It was pretty much just like it was a sweaty try hard like nightmare grind fest.
Oh yeah.
It was
Just
the worst.
beads and beads of sweat.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean that's like the basic idea behind it.
Mm.
I actually remember a couple of times when I was doing that. I was just sitting there looking at the roster in my particular group of ranked, and I'm just like, wow, I'm top 3. But then I noticed like down below, like people weren't playing, and I'm like, oh, okay. That I was sadly I was a part of a group that, well, I guess not sadly, but also a good thing, because one thing is that when you were in, now they were all random how they grouped us together, uh was if your group just was not active, you could easily be the top.
Right.
Like that was something that people have figured out, and but then there were some groups where like they were they were competitive as hell. Like I
Flex real quick, Maniac, and just say that my group had 2 of the top 10 players in the entire game.
oh yeah, it was.
Like, I was,
Yes.
it's like
Ouch.
literally overnight, and I was like, oh, I'm not playing anymore. I'm not worried about this anymore.
I'm
I
done.
remember
Forget
that.
it.
I remember that because I'm like, oh yeah, those names look familiar. I look at like the overall roster and I'm like, oh, oh, that makes sense. But yeah, that was just oh gosh, it was fun but yet irritating at the same time, I guess.
I mean, for sure, you essentially had to no life the game. Like, what's
Yeah.
sleep? What's that? Job? Like MMOs will tell you, like nowadays will tell you, like take a break from the game
Right.
and spend
Keep
time with your friends
hydrated.
and family and stuff like that. Like they should have had a notice like that when the event was going. I was like, don't forget you have friends and family who care about you.
Apparently they didn't.
I got
Yeah.
into a trap like that.
My mom's a mobile suit.
Yeah, but I've been trapped in those grind fest in several games. Like I've spent, there was one called Skyforge where it was like the higher on the thing you got these top rewards, and it was just like I was like, okay, time to grind for 3 days straight, no big deal. And it would like loop every midnight, and I was just like top number, top number, top number, and it was just literally just a grind fest like that. Which that's one of the things I like that they changed. Which when you described the first one, I thought the big change, well, the big changes, rather than just your top 3 scores gets added together for your RP.
Mhm.
Now it's like I thought the 20-man thing was one of the changes too, from where I was reading the notes. And it was
Right.
just like, so actually, so where they had the groups, I wonder if did they have one before, or is this literally the second one?
This is the second one.
This
Okay.
is the second one. The
It-
first one
We thought it was either gonna be shelled or just
yeah.
we were just keeping it for looks, but yep.
Yeah, when when it first like ended, people like I remember talking to a couple of players, specifically since I'm friends with Rob. I was talking to him and he's like, I really hope they don't bring it back because it was just awful. And I'm like, yeah, I can understand that. Because how the whole setup was is that you had to keep playing. Like you had to keep playing to be the top. Like you had to go over and over and over and over and over just to stay at the top. And it was just I guess for different players it was kind of a mixed bag, I guess, of
Yeah.
feelings depending on what group they were in.
I feel like most people didn't like it though. Did you hit up Google Translate on the like on Twitter when that event was going on? Like there were some of the most
Oof.
kindly worded mean things being said to the battle operation crew. Like, I don't like this one bit. I think you guys should reconsider how you structure your game, or like only people who can play this event are neats, hikikomoris, and no jobs. You know, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was
Wow,
really
dude.
bad. I mean, Google Translate probably made it a lot less toxic.
Yeah, but you know, it was dripping with salt.
Oh man, that sounds pretty
yeah, it's
crazy.
definitely collectible.
Which now though the your top 3 games, that's pretty good. So anybody who can know life, it just pretty much has more chances to get a good game rather than just um,
Oh yeah.
straight grind.
Mm-hmm.
But
Have you guys already looked over the criteria for the different event? Like the way it like actually breaks down the score per category. It's
Yes,
pretty nice.
yeah,
I took a look at that. That was oh, and then I don't know how they're going to implement this, but this is going to be the same update that mentioned about if you interfere with your teammates too much, they're going to kick you or something to that effect.
Oh yeah, like
Are you talking
knocking
about
them
the
down and
penalty
stuff.
system?
Yeah,
isn't that already
like
in?
they're redoing the penalty system in the same
Yeah,
update.
I mean that'll be coming up because I know we actually have it on the list of topics that we're going to talk about today as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that'll definitely come up.
Okay, I was thinking it was already in from like a Reddit
No,
post or whatever. But
Man, if it was already in, we probably would have had a couple
Oh,
more salty
gosh,
posts on there by now.
touche.
yeah.
I mean, it just starts the hate to see you get banned memes early. You know?
Oh yeah, like
oh boy.
What did I get hit up by?
pretty much if you attack anything though, it's like a pilot. Like, ooh, this is gonna be kind of interesting,
Oh yeah.
especially with people like firing in like, oh, I'm gonna go defuse the bomb, and then you're just like, your teammate's just like,
Well,
ow.
I don't think that'll be an issue though. Like I think they said it's limited to pretty much just downswings. Um, as far as that goes, like I don't think they're going to penalize you for you know, normal shots. Supports would be totally screwed. We'll see like a dramatic decline in support players if it was cannon shots. But I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Google Translate's weird, so it could just be worded badly. But I think it's just melee.
Like one of the
Yeah.
words was like aiming or line of sight or something like that. So it is shots, I think. But the thing is,
Mhm.
if pretty much an enemy's on screen, and you're getting was a diversion score toward that person, then I think it doesn't like it doesn't
Yeah.
count at all.
Yeah. Interesting.
So
I thought it was more
that might be
of
something I have to see when they roll it out and have a clear
yeah,
translation. Sorry, man.
they may end up like either A, rewarding it, or B, they might fix the rule a bit. That's what I'm thinking. Because
Well,
I'm
it
just
could already
sitting
be
here
good, though.
thinking, like people are just gonna get banned like from doing it on accident. Like I just can't think of a like how would you know if somebody's like purposely beating somebody up unless it's like purposely shown, but like how would the game register that?
Well, hold on, real quick. You know, I don't want to be like a podcast topic Nazi, but do we kind of want to like stay on topic with the ranked match first and finish discussing that, or do
oh
you
yeah,
want to go to
Oh yeah.
touche.
ranking system?
Yeah, okay, okay. Let's
Okay,
get back to the
you're
rank
right.
real quick. We'll get there. We'll get there in a second. But
Because there's also notes so far for ranks. We only got it. It's like what, a week away now.
yeah,
Less than that.
Yeah,
I
it should
think.
be coming up. It should be coming up real soon.
Actually,
it's the
I believe
16th. It's Wednesday.
Yeah, 16.
It's the next banner.
Oh, okay,
Mhm.
so this
So
Monday
well,
coming up. Okay.
or wait, no.
Yeah, it is the 16th though. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, it is the
Monday
16th, but
coming
it's
up.
Monday. Okay, never mind. So never mind.
Yeah.
Not the next banner.
No, it's Monday to Sunday is what
Monday.
they said.
Yeah. Right date, wrong day of the week. But yeah. So as far as the rank goes, 350, 6v6. It's kind of wishing it would be 5v5.
I agree.
Like
I can understand why they would go with 6v6, seeing how by default, from what I'm guessing, is that they're probably looking at the cumulative data from when the times are the 6v6 matches versus the 5v5 matches. And I'm thinking that they're looking at it more as oh, well, there's more people there at this, and they're just probably taking the stats from that and just throwing it into the ranked matches. I think that's what they're doing with the whole player versus thing for the 6v6 thing.
It's
I could
definitely
easily
more
be
about
wrong.
capacity.
Yeah, I mean that seems likely. I think honestly they would probably just want to push the game at its highest capacity, if that makes sense. Kind of
Yeah.
think about the tournament event, how it was 6v6 ace match.
Mhm.
I prefer 5, but this is something that's competitive in nature. I'm sure they want to push and showcase the game at its full power capacity, whatever. So if they do 6v6, it's full game. 350 is a pretty medium range cost that has DSs running rampant everywhere, and showcases the power of the game. They I think if it's it makes promotional sense as well. It's like everything. It's everything the game can do. It's a good cost, and it shows everything off. Sorry,
Yeah.
lag issue. People are talking about lag issues.
Uh-oh. Oops. But
The
yeah.
lag issues for the stream or the actual game?
No, the game itself.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
By the way, with the tournament though, they had 6v6 on that as well. I was really curious about that because I didn't actually look into that too much. But
The matches are on YouTube if you haven't had a chance to see them.
I believe the ranked matches were 6v6s.
Yeah, it should have been 6v6s.
Unless they switched at certain times of the day, just to compensate bandwidth, not bandwidth, but players at different times, I guess.
Yeah, if you didn't see any of it, I could be wrong, but I think the tournament rules were something along the lines of 6v6 ace match, and the teams were required to run only exam suits and at least one hilt offer,
really,
at the very least.
Mm.
Yeah, well, no, that's definitely not the case. But if you saw the matches, it might
as well have been.
Yeah.
It was literally like test takers and tanks.
Like we're required to have at least 3 Axakus per game. This
Right,
coming.
Oh, for sure.
350, yeah.
and one
We're gonna
and some DSs, of course.
Yeah, that's what ranked match is going to be.
Yeah, that's all it's gonna be.
I was actually I think it was like yesterday or a day before or something like that. I was going through custom matches just to, because I was bored and I was just messing around with custom matches. And there were a lot, and I mean a lot of 350 ground matches in those custom matches. And I'm thinking, oh boy, people are getting prepared.
And training is now.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask. What are you guys planning on using? Like, what have you been practicing for it, or?
I've recently been getting pretty good with the E-Freak custom, but I don't know if I'll be ballsy enough to use it in there. Most likely, I'll probably end up using either the Ground Gundam or DS E-Freak or maybe Sniper Custom or something like that. Something along the lines of, hey, I can get stuff done.
Yeah, that's kind of me. I'm probably gonna be using the mass production gun cannon or the gun cannon. I actually need to buy the ground type Gundam just to practice with it a bit. I actually don't own it yet. So,
Do you already have the beam rifle?
no, maybe
The beam rifle's pretty good with it.
instead of its cannon.
You said the ground type.
Oh, sorry, weapons rack. Weapons rack.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Sorry, I was like, wait, it's got a beam
No,
for a second. I was like, whoa.
No. I didn't realize you were talking about.
Yeah, but as far as supports go, that's what I've been practicing with. The DS is probably my raid, and then I've been trying to do the Exaku, but yeah, it's not been going too well.
I forgot if we mentioned it, but what was the cost range for those matches going to be?
350.
350.
350. So
yeah, so there's going to be a lot of Axakus.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can just see it now. Like, there's going to be like a whole team of just Akizakus with the beam rifle.
I might actually do the Cold Districts level 3 at that point. Like, it kind of shreds just a little bit with a level
It'll
3
be
gun.
bad. It's definitely a good finisher.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Going up against Nox, you wouldn't have a problem.
But
I wish I had the BR for
you will
my
not
act.
see them coming.
That's true.
Ooh.
There it is. I was waiting for that.
I might actually
Oh my
give
God.
the knock the try in there too. It's got the DS as
Dude,
well.
I think you're gonna get slaughtered. The Noct is a
probably
death
will.
trap. Yeah. You know how many sweaty
Yeah.
Exoc is gonna be
So-
running around? They're anti-stealth.
The good thing
Oh,
about
yeah.
it is though is that they're gonna be running the top 3 games that you do. So you're not grinding so much as you are trying to get your best 3 for that day. Supposedly is how it's gonna be working.
Yeah,
So-
that is the
That was
best
one of the
part.
changes that they actually put in.
Yeah.
So now, does that mean that they're?
Oh wait, hold on.
allowing-
Sorry, I'm gonna play the high speed.
Oh
gun.
no.
Key gun.
I mean, yeah, totally.
Uh,
I'd do that too because I got one. So
Now,
There you
what
go.
do they mean by like top 3 matches? Is it like top 3 matches in one day, or is it overall?
Yeah, yeah.
or-
one day
It's your
per
day.
day, and those are your point accumulations across those matches. As
Oh, so
opposed
we're
to you,
not-
yeah, they're trying to combat the grind fest.
Yeah. So
But-
like for instance, if you get like, and I'm just gonna throw random numbers out here. Like, I decide I'm gonna play the Exaku, and I do horribly, and I get 50 points, and then I play what I'm good at and get like 500, and then 300, and then and that's all I play. Then it just totals those 3 up. But then if I played a 4th game and got another 500, then it would replace that 50 game, and then if I got another one, then I'd have 1,500 overall, and it would replace the 300 game. So whatever your 3 top
Okay.
scores, there you go. So I mean, you could just have, if you get stuck, everybody just seems to want to play support. So either you all just go, okay, we're having an all support game, or if you just try to fit in, it's cool. You can have maybe a rough game, or who knows, maybe that's your day to
Right.
play the general type. But yeah, so that's the good thing about that.
Of course, despite some of those changes, you're still gonna get some pretty sweaty tryhards, and they're probably gonna
Oh.
bulk out a lot of compositions and things.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
Which,
some
have
of
you
those
guys
changes are
seen all
good
the
to keep in mind
criteria?
in case you do biff it.
What do you mean criteria?
Have you all seen all the criteria? Like for the points.
Oh
It's like-
yeah.
'Cause it's not just
Team-
matches. Like there's
Yeah, team
there's a bunch
score,
of stuff
team
to
win
it.
loss, and individual rating.
Like
I think
Um,
300
the-
for a win, 200 for a draw, and 100 for a loss is the first point value. Then you got depending on where you place first through 12th, which I think is it the top 10 get points actually, and it goes 400, 400. Then I think 350,
It's
350,
9
or
and
300,
up.
300.
10 and lower gets 0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Okay.
But the top, it goes down by 50 after it gets to, I think, 5th place, and then I think it's what, 400, 400, then 300, 300, and then it goes down by 50 each till you get to 10th.
Yeah, like first and second is 4, like you said. Third and fourth is 3. Fifth is 250. Sixth is 200. Seventh is 150. Eighth is 100, and ninth is 50. Then it's 0 for everybody else.
Yeah. And then it takes how much percent of the total score that you?
5%.
5%, yeah.
And
So-
it caps at 200,000. Or sorry, 20,000. 200,000.
I
Yeah, it gets
was like,
those 200,000
dude.
Yeah,
games.
that
Oh
fucking was
my
grinded
gosh.
out now.
You're gonna have that crazy, like, oh my gosh, I just thought of something horrible. Like, just somebody gets their alt and their main into one thing. Has like, oh my gosh, here we
Wonder if
go.
that's
They get
happened.
yeah, that's surely there's going to be like one person who's had their, because I've got like what, 3 A accounts. It was like
And,
get
like,
lucky
both
and just
accounts
have
get, like,
them,
the top 2 or something.
or well no, just like have one be a trash account.
Oh god.
Borrow somebody's
reserve a
PlayStation.
spot, like,
Yeah, borrow somebody's PlayStation, queue at the same time, get on the opposite team, and be like, oh man, I'm just wrecking this one dude over here. I don't know why he keeps coming over here and standing on the side of the map.
How
By the way, it is
mysterious.
random. It is random ground map though, right?
It is
Yeah,
random
they
ground.
said
map.
ground map,
so-
so.
Yep, it's gonna be random ground.
Yeah. So that's one of the interesting things. Like, the random ground is definitely depending on what map, I have better games than others. I love port based. Just saying.
I would much like in terms of ground maps.
Well, are they using port base? Because it's only between 3 maps. And Google Translate's
yeah.
rough, but
Yeah.
Google Translate says falling place.
Which
I'm
probably
gonna
means
have it in
crash site.
city and tropical desert.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's probably going to be
Wait,
impact
mountain's not
site.
on there. What the? That map is perfectly balanced.
They got rid of it. Oh boy.
So mountainous
well, no,
isn't
it's not
on.
Be in the rotation unless mountain is
Falling-
falling place.
No, that's probably impact site.
No, falling place must be impact site.
Yeah.
So
It
the
should
only-
be mountain though.
the
Yeah.
only,
Bummer.
So since before, see, I can't speak. Speaking is horrible. Anyway,
Words are hard. I know that feel.
I remember for some odd reason, like the last time we did ranked matches, was it only in the tropical desert? Because I can only
no,
remember.
I believe it was just impact site.
No,
Although
I
it did
remember
switch.
tropical.
It changed. It started as impact site or desert. It started as one of the maps and switched later. But it was
Okay.
definitely impact site at some point in time. I'm pretty sure.
Because I specifically remember playing on the desert like a hell of a lot.
I think desert was new around that time too, right? So they were like also showcasing that map.
That would make sense.
I don't remember if desert map would have been that new because I guess yeah, because there was only 3 ground maps, right? Because it would have been no, there would only been 2 because
well, if it had only been 2, it would have just been port base and impact site. Like
so then 3, yeah. I forgot about port base, impact, and desert, and then they brought in the city after the Alex and Camphor update. So yeah, okay.
Which, personally, my least 2 favorite maps is probably Impact Site and Deserted City. But even though I am a support player, man, there's too many places for a raid to hide in Deserted City. Just saying.
Oh yeah. That, like if you're now this is 350, so if you're a knock, you could even have you would have a field day just walking around behind buildings.
It's kind of fun to have like go into a game. Sometimes just duo queue and just play 2 Akais on Deserted City at 200 cost. Yeah.
so you die for a friend.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is though, you know, one guy pops out, pokes, and then you have your friend pop out over here, color scheme exactly the same, be some wacky color scheme, but look exactly the same, and then you're just like the teleporting guy that you know. That's
transmission.
I mean, some of this lag that we've been getting, you have a couple cases of instant transmission that's been going on. Dude just blipping straight out the mountain on tropical desert, way over on the other side of the map. Like, woo.
Oh well, there was
Goodbye.
there was that video that I posted of the flying
the
Zaku
flying
tank.
tank.
Yeah, man.
Oh my god.
Like he just took off. He was going to space. But
He was done with this planet.
yeah,
it definitely goes both ways too. I've seen people burrow into the ground also, never to be seen again.
oh gosh.
Well, and then
Yeah, like it's awesome when they spawn and they like lag out because they don't hit the ground. They keep falling and they fall right through the floor.
Oops.
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious.
Or you just have the imaginary team player knocking down all the enemies for you.
Yeah.
I remember one of the custom matches I was in for Gaming Emblems. It was just me. I couldn't see anyone else, but they could still nail me.
Oof.
So I was just fighting invisible people for the whole match.
Like
That was old school though. I don't know if that's too common these days.
It still happens sometimes.
the one I get is I'll be playing, and I think this happened on stream here the other day. It was like just straight up lag, and I'm like, I'm not doing any damage to this guy. And then all of a sudden he explodes and I got the kill. And then I'm like, what is this? Oh, I'm not getting staggered. Okay, wait, they just shot me with like 5 rockets. Oh wait, I killed another. Oh, I killed another one. Oh, I got another kill. Oh man, look, I've got like 5,000 individual score in a 200 game. They probably thought I was cheating. My
Yeah,
bad.
I was about to say, do you want to admit to lag, like lag
Honestly,
switching?
it sounds like you
like,
just
on your
described it
podcast?
like
you were lag switching.
I mean, like that's what it pretty much sounds like, is like some kind of error that was essentially lag switching without doing it. Like, I don't know, something with their netcode is just all kinds of janked up. But
Well, speaking of like the whole lag switching thing, with the like how are we? It's like how's that all gonna play out in the ranked matches? Because we all know that people are gonna be doing it.
I mean, I haven't really run
Cool.
into cheating much in this game myself, or anything that would look like it. I mean, has anybody really run into that in this?
I've ran into plenty in raiding.
Stream snipers suck. Especially playing stealth.
I mean that too, but also just. I mean, we've had a couple of vanishing matches, but those are the more notable ones for me.
I don't know. I find it so hard to tell if it's intentional or not, to be honest. Just
Right.
given our state of connection by
Server
default.
issues, potato
Right.
connections, like.
Yeah. But I mean, honestly, Maniac, to answer your question, I mean, I think unless it falls under the normal umbrella of their current penalty system, no. What are you gonna do?
Fair enough. Yeah. But I mean, if it happens, it kind of happens. I mean, that's like when I played a lot of PUBG there for a while. It's just like you run into that guy. Okay, it happened. Hopefully, he's having a good day. Move on to next game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Hey,
But
you sniped me through a mountain and 3 buildings. Seems good to me.
it seems legit.
Yeah, just you know, oh, let's just phase through this building.
I haven't had any of that yet, but
Oh man, we're getting some tunneling action going here.
But yeah, I think the ranked event will be a lot more enjoyable this time around compared to last
yeah.
time. It won't
Oh,
it won't
yeah.
feel like a job.
Yeah,
Right.
that's pretty much the biggest complaint in any game that has a system like that. And then as soon as they fix it, everybody's like, okay, cool, this was fun. Let's do something like this again. So
it's
be cool
also
to
just
see.
nice that they have the willingness to try to alter it and fix it.
Yeah,
It's fine with it, so.
that's one of the best things. I like that they've. One thing I would like to just a random thought here. One thing I would like them to see is just kind of make a change to where we actually get some AI to kind of play around with more than the simple stuff that we've got. I think
Mm-hmm.
PvE
They're-
would be pretty interesting.
they're starting to get to the point of doing some kind of PvE stuff with their recent like additions. So that's kind of
Right.
cool. But
Yeah, it's something to consider.
any other thoughts on rank though?
I can't.
Well, if you
think
want
of anything
closing
at the
thoughts,
moment.
like I said, I think it'll be good, better, I should say.
I'll
I'll hold off on good.
I think I guess the increase of amount of suits that we got in the 350 range since then, I think it's going to be a bit better.
Yeah, and I
if
mean
not
that's
a whole lot better.
that's another big thing too, just more variety.
Yeah.
The variety of DSs.
No,
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that. I was just going
the
to say,
the entire free line.
Did you not get the memo from the GBO meta board? Like, sir, when you got your application to the ranked event, you may play the Axaku, the world record Gundam, the DS. We will sometimes allow you a free Kai. Just like, oh, fun. That memo too looks fun. Do not
Let's
play.
get up in there and have a freed operation.
Like, sorry, please make sure you refer to your meta approved mobile suit checklist before you rank or queue in for ranked matches, please.
Like Monday, you log in, it's one of the banners that pop up on the thing when you're hitting, you're
Yes,
going
sir.
through.
Just a
Yes.
chart.
You can only play these suits in the ranked match, or you will get angry messages in a language you do not understand.
In the language, yeah.
Grab out them moon runes.
I just send back English what all the time when I get a message.
I just put out my god in the chat.
Yeah, my
Say it's
default
not
response
true.
is a frowny face. I just frown at him.
Oh,
they could be
see,
lauding you as a savior and just like, man.
I usually go for the restoration of Xeon. Just
There you go.
whatever they say.
Glory to Lady Hamon.
All right.
John said I should do this, so I threw the game. What can I do?
Zig John.
But yeah, but if there's nothing else for the rank, if we want to head on, I guess, to the 150 to 200 cost stuff.
Yep, sounds good to me.
So
Yeah.
when we were originally talking about this, was this specifically for raids or just that cost range in general?
Well,
Well,
it
it was
could be
kinda-
it could be a whole bunch of stuff, honestly, in my opinion.
I kind of wanted to talk about just that cost range in general, which I know I think it was originally kind of raids, but yeah, I think we could go ahead and expand on it a little bit.
Okay.
So, did you want to talk about the raid part of it though, Emblem?
Oh well, I mean, if we want my take on the current like raid health and net cost, then absolutely. Hold on a second. Let me get my
here we go.
dissertation real quick. It just sucks. Like I don't if for any of you guys like that dude right there, the support guy, and like Maniac plays raids. Gustav, I see you play a lot of Alex sometimes. All of you guys like who don't know that hashtag bully to raid life, or
Bully the raid.
realize that there's a hidden passive on certain mobile suits called taunt. Like it's so bad in 150 and 200. Like oh my gosh, the ASR is so brutal. It makes me hate myself whenever I get shot. And like you're going on somebody to get shot, and it's like all of a sudden I'm on my knees. And oh, my health is gone. What happened?
Oh god. I mean,
Yeah.
it is a tough life. The only thing I have any confidence running raid wise at that cost is definitely the light armor, and it's only because I can reach out and smack people in the legs with that strip beam rifle.
Pretty
But
much.
actually trying to close in, unless I have a bunch of generals in front of me to fuck them up first, I am not going to be putting any swings in. Those are for emergencies only, ironically, on that. Because my runs in the Goof have been rough.
So in terms of like 150 to 250, I'm more of a 250 person.
Hmm.
The only way that I could possibly quote unquote win a match in a 250 is either if I could ever use like a Zaku 1 command, or I use a normal Zaku 1. That's it. Because of how many people are on low health. It's like paper. It's everybody's paper at
Right.
that cost.
Including you, ASR.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter. Like, what I find funny is it's like they set up the whole, like, I understand the whole mobile suit triangle and all that, but like it's pretty much useless on a low cost environment.
Well, I mean,
because of how low
I think
health everybody has.
Well, I think the real problem with it right now is just like suits are getting power creeped at a lot of different costs.
That's
Just
true.
look at
Yeah.
they just recently renamed unrestricted to Stardust Memory. Generals are evolving. I mean, we just got the rabbit ears, and you pretty much literally play the same raids that have been out since the first few months of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, Zaku 1, like depending on what the cost is, the goof, Akai, light armor. Am I missing any? I think it's just 4, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, just 4 suits that people would mainly use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Zaku
I mean, one of them
is
doesn't
I
have
mean-
maneuver
kind of
armor. Like,
frisky.
Well, and then with the Akai, like, so like as far as 250 goes, I just play the Goof, and that's pretty much my go-to for that, and I'm solid with it. So there we go. That's about all I play if I play a raid 250. But the Akai, the big thing with it is these days we're getting so many things with that dodge roll, like
Mhm.
and it's the trainer can dodge roll, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Trainer can dodge
So
roll.
that was the biggest thing when the trainer hit. I was just like, before I would just be like, see something, stagger, waddle, 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 stagger, waddle, 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 melee, and there wasn't too much, hardly anything would do. Now it's like, stagger, oh, they rolled, so I better definitely hit this shot, which I guess that's a little bit better because then I actually got to have some skill, but it just completely countered my playstyle with that. But
yeah, it makes it harder.
you're pretty much allowed to prey on supports, but they usually have a
Yeah.
decent amount of cover. They can fight back well.
Mhm.
Well, and
You
that's
know,
the other thing. When you're an Akai,
snapshots and
yeah, exactly. If I see an Akai playing my Zaku cannon, I'm just like, okay, you're half health. If you don't hit me before I hit you, you're at half health by the time. And then I need a general type to get over here and smack you once.
hmm.
That's about it.
But yeah, I think Raid just need a shiny toy and the lower cost, like something new. I think it's cool that they released the rabbit type as a strict upgrade to the Zaku cannon and whatnot. But it feels really bad going into one of those lobbies and knowing that you're probably gonna at least one time during the match get caught in a scenario where you lose over half your HP
Yeah.
to an ASR. It's
I
pretty
mean,
brutal.
if you're not about that Stardust memory
Oh,
life,
sorry, I forgot about the Zuda.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
Zuda.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's-
that's what I was about to mention.
Live suits.
But the Zuda can hold its own pretty well, though.
Hot take from chat. We know we're old types talking about ground, but space is included also.
that's true.
Yeah.
But I think the draw C
Space
still
at
holds
lower
up.
cost is like some molasses level shit, but the draw C
man,
does
fucking
make it
draw
fun.
C.
I was gonna say the draw C as far as raid is quite a bit of fun. Get
Yeah.
your dodge roll, you're flying around like a crazy person. I just
If I'm not mistaken, doesn't it have forced injectors?
what does that do again?
Force Injector is the one that lets you. Force
Dash
Injector is the
back
one that
and
lets
forth.
you dash back and forth in the middle
Yep.
of a dash, or
Yeah.
and
Yep.
cancel dashing.
I know it has Zambag, but I don't know if it does have.
I thought
force.
it had forced injector.
I'm not
Weird,
sure.
huh?
I'd have to look.
I can double
Usually
check
on
right
suits
now.
that have it, I don't use because I don't like it very much.
Did anyone get the what is it? The custom, the general one?
The Drosy
Oh.
Kai? Yeah, I got
Yeah,
it.
I haven't used
I
it yet, but
never
I have
did.
it.
That's cool. Yeah, still rocking a regular so far.
Yeah. The draw C though, I really like just sometimes I'll jump into a team and just be like, okay, I'm gonna just kite, have fun trying to shoot at me.
Oh, okay. So
Just because
Uh,
it's distraction. OP.
sorry. So back to the Drosy, I just decided to look up its skills and stuff like that. So it does have maneuver armor and forced injectors.
Ah, okay.
Ooh, nice.
So yeah, that thing is pretty.
And you can
useful.
get I think you can get 2 dodge rolls on it too.
No, only one.
Is it 1? Okay.
Yep.
Never mind.
It's only one. That would be insane if the Drosy had 2 dodge rolls.
Yeah.
A raid with 2
Interesting,
dodge
though.
rolls.
I was gonna
Holy
say
fuck.
I feel like I've got
suits,
so much mobility on it though, so I'm just kind of like, yeah.
How many other suits have force injectors? I feel like to some degree, high speed ambac makes force injector kind of unnecessary.
High spec ambac. Well,
Yeah.
the whole point of high spec ambac, if I'm not mistaken, was just for maneuverability for people that were for suits that wouldn't have forced injectors.
Yeah,
I think
it
it was
comes. It
just
brings
kind
you
of
to
Yeah.
a dead stop after
yeah,
you boost.
and instead of you're drifting, it
yeah,
just
trying to readjust.
yeah, it stops you right dead in your tracks in space, even though logically it wouldn't really work.
That's something really jarring that I find in the interceptor. Like I didn't understand how much that interrupts my movement flow until I actually started running that suit.
Yeah, ambac is an awesome skill to have. But I mean, I more mean like, because you can stop on a dime, why would you need to force inject? I mean, if there's any like global cooldown on you being able to dash again, it's got to be like milliseconds. Why would you even why would you even need to force inject? Like it makes sense on a suit that doesn't have the high spec version.
Yeah.
But like
Oh,
I think it's
I think the idea is that if you stop, you'll still do the animation, but if say when you're actually in that animation, you can just interrupt out of it into another
the high spec
boost.
ambac doesn't give you an animation as long as you're.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about for the other one for force injectors in space.
Well, yeah, and I get that. That's why I'm saying like if you don't have ambac, I think it makes perfect sense. But if you do, like it seems kind of over. It seems like it almost feels like you're doubling up. I know you're not, but I feel like they kind of do a similar. They perform a similar role. at that point. And if you just play it smart, you never even need it because you
Right.
just.
If anything, I would
you take
prefer
your food
having
back.
that over just the injectors,
Right.
just so that you can
Yeah.
still list when you need to.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's interesting. I don't know. I've never found a moment in space where I was like, man, I wish I was drifting. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
almost always bad.
I think it's mostly because I've been using the Saikamizaku, so it can actually roll, and that extra little list, it actually brings it out of some shots that I would have gotten caught by normally, just because it's so fast and it's always drifting and moving its body so erratically.
Yeah, I think it's something that maybe is just more of a ground thing, maybe. My chat's kind of talking about it a little bit, but it feels like something for ground. And if it like bleeds over into space and you have AMBAC or high spec AMBAC, it's just kind of like
A
you're
bonus.
simply double dipping to some degree almost. I
Yeah.
feel. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It is pretty amazing on ground though. They had a high cost Zuda in our last match, just fucking zipping around in place. That shit was nuts. Just put on some
I'm good
high
on
end
the side
thruster
of it.
parts and just teleporting pretty much because of the speed that it can put out.
That's pretty cool, actually.
I do not use it. I do not like to use. I do not like to use it. And whenever I see people like zipping around, I just think they're wasting their time. But
I
maybe
mean,
just
they
don't
are
use it enough.
because they had to stop the fire unless there
Well,
was
so here's my logic as far as like actually using the zip around tactic. I think it was my last game yesterday was in the DS, and I just went full into the enemy team, going hard, and somehow we just pushed their kicked their teeth in right there on impact site. I just led the charge right through the little thing all the way up on C. Yeah, that's right. You got D, and then you got the little thing, and you got C, right? Yeah. So, and then I just went straight in, and I blew up the guy's suit that was capturing the point. And then, of course, his whole team was just like, "Get him!" And then, like, they went, but his suit was in the way. So I was like crouched down behind his suit, and I got knocked down. So I'm just like there or whatever. I mean, I was there behind that suit for half an hour, and then he got killed, and then yeah, we just pushed him in. So sometimes chaos just works in a game. So
Oh yeah, and I mean that's more so than anything else. You know, you can talk about them having to pursue like supports in general, but that is definitely one of the bigger jobs for the raid.
yeah,
Is just to swoop in, pray to God you got a decent team that'll actually, you know, take advantage of everyone swiveling around and be like, "What the fuck is that?" and then just follow through.
yeah, for sure. The thing I like about the Zuda though is it does have that counter sniper gameplay, so
Mm-hmm.
I can pretty
know,
much
and
play it like a support type.
Yeah, just nail them from over the shoulders of your generals and be like, "Well, that guy's gone."
There was I don't remember how long ago this was, but I was in a 250 match with my Zuda on impact site, and I'm just like, huh, I got this anti-ship rifle, and I just see 3 supports just hanging out in the back. Let me just shoot them. end up killing like 2 out of the 3, and my whole team just bodied the other one. I was just like, oh, okay, that worked.
Hey, gotta love when a plan comes together.
Yeah. As far as the 150 to 250 though, one thing, just looking at like support types, I was actually surprised when I actually looked at my list and seeing how many I had to choose from really. But one thing I wish they would do is they would look at some of the suits and just kind of start making some bigger passes and buffing things. Like the GM cannon is pretty yeah, it's not that good. Especially when you get down there to like 200 and like isn't it at like 200, isn't it one of the weakest suits like life wise? I mean, you got the shield, but they pretty
Right,
much
and
just took the
that's why.
yeah, and they just pretty much took the life that the like Zaku cannon has and just, you know, put it in the shield. And sometimes the shield blows up, but most of the time it's just like just melt. Especially if somebody catches you on the side with no shield, they may melee you once or twice, you're dead.
Which is
So
weird because like early on in the game. And I don't know if it was just an early meta thing, but the GM cannon was very prominent, even in some of the higher costs.
Well, I
And then
think
people
it's
started to realize that the Zaku cannon had a little bit more output with the damage on the cannon itself. You could run that machine gun pretty reliable with the MMP80, so they started to lean on that more.
oh yeah.
I remember that transition because I actually remember the day when I just kind of took to notice that like people were transitioning over to the Zaku cannon. I'm like, okay, so we're ditching the beam spray gun. Cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, sometimes I still use the 100mm though over the beam gun, just because you get a little bit more range over the like MMP80 playstyle.
Yeah,
So
a little bit of type advantage and damage over time.
yeah, so sometimes I'll do that. It's not too bad. But overall, you've got the heavy arms now for 200. Of course you got the Zaku 1 commander type, but they did just buff the Magella tank top cannon with it, and it's pretty good for both it and the heavy arms, but just not my playstyle. But it's pretty solid. I've
I don't
been
know.
having some issues playing against some of them too.
My goofy ass just runs the Gigan all the time now.
Well, and
Now
then
that I
there's
got
that.
a couple of them.
Yeah. Oh, and they just buffed that as well, and they finally, hallelujah, they finally put the data uplink so you can share everybody like the enemy health bars. That
Yeah.
was silly that they put that in the game without having the data uplink.
Yeah,
Of all the
that
things, this scooty little recon suit, like, nah, come on, dude. It's gotta have something
Dude,
like that.
the Gigan's like an absolute like monster unit murder machine. It didn't need anybody else knowing where its victims were. Hit
It
with
is
that
a
Gigan
monstrous
punch,
little
put him on the
bastard.
ground.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, the punch is every time I get a punch, I'm just like,
That shit feels great. I'm
But-
actually a little more wary of Gigan twins on teams. Like sometimes you'll have one and then you'll have someone be like XYZ cannon or something like that. But two of them scooting around near each other, laying in those cannons and then the machine gun fire afterwards, fuck off.
Oh,
One
yeah,
of them
dude.
or both of them are gonna have to get focused on.
I don't know how many games I've had where it's just nothing but a full team, all support team of just those. Like there was a space one I've had.
What?
Yeah, there's been
Oh,
space games where it's a full
no.
team of them. There's been, and it's just like, okay, guys, it's hunting season. Let's line up and just shoot.
Just a wave of bullets.
Oh yeah, like
Someone got the kit for it though.
oh yeah.
That actually sounds amazing.
Yeah,
I
it's
wish I
it's
was
so
in
much
those
fun.
matches.
Like, and those are rated matches too, so it's just like, and then I
Yes.
pop my medal. Like, I count on
I
you,
love
and everybody readies
composition
up.
meltdowns in rated.
Oh
That's like
yeah,
one of my
dude.
favorite
Oh,
things. When
yeah.
people just go balls out, like, nah, fuck it. We're gonna run this whole thing full on red. If we get melted, we'll get melted. If not, we are going to decimate these motherfuckers, and they're gonna wish we never did it again.
right.
Um,
I remember I think it was like a 350 cost, and everybody, including myself, we all went Efreet custom.
ooh.
But here's the
Jesus.
catch. Here's the catch. The whole enemy team went support.
Oh shit.
Been there, done that. I was on the support
so
team.
we bodied the whole team, not
Poor
once,
bastards.
not twice, but we bodied the whole team 3 times and bombed their base.
I'm assuming they just hit after that.
Oh my gosh. I think like 2 of their players on their team just like dropped
GC.
immediately.
I'm like, fuck off. Nope. We called it wrong, boys.
See a wave of just a wave of a freeze. Nope, I'm out.
Just gonna-
Peace.
Nope.
Being on the enemy side of those against those teams can be pretty soul crushing though. I hate it whenever I'm on a port base and you got like full support team on. It's so hard to get anything done. I mean,
Oh,
you
yeah.
get
Because of
power
all the
stone.
distance, yeah, that's
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah. So supports if they got anything going for them, they can lock people down. If they decide to focus fire you, you are donezo.
Yeah, that's it.
Plenty of
It's the
distance and
worst.
plenty of verticality. That's all port base is for those guys.
Yep.
Purge
That's
is
why I
gold.
like it.
Yeah, I bet.
Which, speaking of port base, I guess do we want to
Ooh,
go
what
ahead
a
and
wonderful transition.
segue in?
Yeah.
Well, I just want to like
Oh.
kind of hammer my point home about the raid thing real quick.
Okay.
Just touch on that except for, like in the cost we were talking about, like, can I just mention that nobody? So like, you remember that one time we played a full raid team in 200 or
Hey,
150, and we had
Akai
Yeah.
team. Akai
Oh,
team.
that's right.
Akai team. I've done it. I've been
the
there.
full team of that guys.
Yeah,
The
dude.
one guy.
That sounds impressive. Must be nice to be in D rank.
Hey man, hey man. This was A. This was A. Like legit.
The
People.
contempt. The absolute sense. My
Oh
God.
man.
my gosh.
Whew.
Wow.
Oh man. But yeah, seriously though, I would say it would be cool to see some more suits around there. Like just all
Thunderbolt
around, they
that
need to.
guy. Just put arms on everything. Fuck it.
There we go. I mean, hey, it made Akai's cool again, and
I mean,
then
it was pretty amazing.
and then I started playing this game, and it made Akai's waddle again. So
Yep. Guys, waddle again.
so but yeah, I would like to see them do some more rebalancing around that cost. Actually, one thing I would like to mention: what do we think about the Camoufle?
The camouflage is, yeah. I can, well,
It's hype. I've had some good games in it. It kind of cancels out the whole point of you trying to like get behind enemy lines with it because it's just so capable on the front.
Yeah,
But sometimes it's doable. Sometimes it's more suspicious than it should be.
I've actually found that if you only have like one camouflage and you are the only camouflage in the match, you're easily targeted. Because everybody knows that there's only one camouflage and it's not on the enemy team.
yeah. Which you know, there for a while it was kind of like, man, this is killing me. All these like Camoufs running around, and it's which now is finally dying down, and we're getting other stuff. But around 200 costs though, just being a support, and then I mean, it's pretty much just a support game. Only you have 3 generals on your team
Right.
that play like a support. So
Mhm.
that was one thing that I was kind of not enjoying there when it first came out. But I'm kind of glad that's starting to die down a bit. But kind of gets a little weird when people play some of those suits that end up playing like a different type, because then you know the team comp gets a little wacky. But I don't know.
It's interesting
mean,
because
like,
people are
when-
starting to get like more confident in their sternfile shots and they're starting to rock the MG and the rocket launchers a little bit more often.
Yeah,
So I think even if they were to ramp up again, we'll see a little bit more diversity in their main weapons. But that anti-ship rifle, I mean, even if you don't have type advantage against somebody, you're still making them take a knee
Oh yeah.
when
Oh,
they
yeah.
get that shot.
Oh yeah. And especially if you're like, even if you're a Zuda, like if you shoot a general in the knee, all the supports are just gonna target them.
Yeah, like, oh hi, thanks for holding them still.
but it was kind of weird. It just felt like a all support game. Only there was like 3 generals on my team. So
Yeah, it's every raid player's nightmare.
yeah, well that's one reason why I mentioned it, because I figured you would. Like,
I mean, for my take on the camouflage, it's like the Grim Reaper. Whenever like bad dreams at night, it's the camouflage. It's like the camouflage there, like his Paldiak Zaku. You know, sometimes it's the Gunner Gundam. Like it can be pretty rough sometimes.
which is why I
Okay,
want
not
the
to
Gunner
mention in
Gundam.
space. Oh god. Trying to have fun in my draw scene, and all of a sudden there's just a firing line of these fuckers.
Oh
all
yeah.
hanging back.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's space as well, so it's just like, yeah, they're everywhere. Now in space, I will say I tend to take advantage of the it's actually whatever the skill is called, where you're on the other team, where you show up on radar as a teammate. Like I tend to take advantage of that a lot more in space than I do on ground,
I can
just
Yeah, you have a
because
couple more,
verticality
couple
is
more,
yeah.
means of approach.
But yeah, anything else for the 250 or?
The GOG is the suit that 250 raids are waiting for, or
The
200.
GOG.
The guy.
There we go.
I mean, I think it makes
250?
perfect sense. Like I don't know why they haven't put the GOG in the game yet. That's the raid we need. Those claws, the claws act just like the heat lance does, and does an instant knockdown.
Mm. Didn't
I mean,
the
ASR. Good.
didn't the Hangar girl actually reference it during an event at one point?
It was just during GOG day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
GOG Day. Yeah, that's what it
It
was.
wasn't even an event. Like it was just one of those bad Japanese like day puns.
Goofy
You know,
ass
it's like
day
how
things that
May
they make.
4th is Star Wars Day. It was
Yeah.
just that.
Yeah. Like I was really
I know it
surprised
got
they
my
didn't do
attention
something.
when I heard her say it though. Like I was like, ooh, perhaps. Never happened.
Well, and everybody I know, like the Reddit was just blowing up that day with like,
Flipping out like, what?
no GOG, really? What?
What happened?
Well, once the GOG does drop into a game, those claws are going to be terrifying. It's most likely going to be a raid type.
I just wanted to have a unique counter against the Gundam where it catches that hyper hammer and just yeets it back at them.
That would be sick. Like the GOG's the only suit that can actually get a counter animation.
Yeah,
It's
like,
a
no,
hyper
thank
hammer.
you.
I'm down for that.
That would be legit, dude.
I mean, technically, from what I understand from the previous game, the GOG was unstunnable. Like it had like
Oh, the armor.
Yeah, with the armor, yeah,
Hmm.
just like the Zamel.
That's wild. I wonder when we're gonna get more suits that have that. Do we have any other examples, or is it just Azamel so far?
I think it's just the Zamel so far.
Well, the tanks get it when they're transformed, right?
Except
Yeah.
for melee.
Well,
I
yeah,
think
but
you
the
have to do,
Zamel. Yeah, I guess normal melee staggers
Does
them.
it?
But you
Does
can
it
knock
stagger
down the
them?
stagger. Yeah, well, shoot, not
Mm.
knockdowns do. I want to say
Maybe
that
down
they
swings,
get it.
yeah.
I think I know the down swings definitely do. Shotgun blast do, but I want to say it like the the Zamel's just for knockdowns, and like hard stuns. But like I think the tanks work in a very similar fashion. But I don't think it's like a full out thing on any other suit.
Mm.
Although I think shields should work that way, but that's neither here nor there.
Oh
Some
god,
shields,
yeah.
big
Once we
shields.
got the
Giant
guard
shields should
custom,
work that way.
guard custom
But,
is like a
Oh, yeah.
wonderful example for that.
Which I thought it was interesting that they took away its ability to stop any kind of like stagger at all. That's just weird. But I mean, I guess they gave it a 20k health bar or something like that, whatever it is. Dumb. But
Oh,
Needs
for
to be
the
else,
I
though.
think
You
the
can't just roll
GBO2
into a group.
does.
or the GM guard custom, doesn't it have like a
I think
ton
it
of
has
health like that?
a ton of health, but I don't think it has that much. I think
No,
10K?
20,000 was.
most of the Gym Guard Customs health is put into the shield.
Yeah, and it has the exact same health as a GPO2 shield.
Oh, does it?
Okay, yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
I thought
both
it was
exactly the same.
okay, yeah.
Because I know people were making such a big deal out of it for the O2, but I thought it was like unique because of that. Because it was like it has more health on it than the suit does. And it's like, well, it had to go somewhere.
Real quick, actually, since we're talking about cost and suits, I guess, do we want to just go ahead and cover the banner? Because I technically did not put that as a topic. But did
Yeah,
anybody
yeah.
We can do that if you want.
get the well, I mean, any other closing thoughts
would
about
say I know,
the 150 to 250 cost?
Not that I can think of, honestly.
Okay,
Rip
yeah.
our clean transition into HOVs.
Oh yeah, whoops.
We blew it.
Oops.
We blew it.
Oops. But yeah, the as far as the banner and stuff goes, anybody get the rabbit type or
I got the level 2 of the
Oh.
rabbit type.
have you tried it?
Yes, on stream too.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to check that out.
And I
Man, give a
I
stream. What
managed-
is it?
Anyway,
shut up.
the rabbit.
No. What? Come on, I'm setting you up. I'm setting you up for shilling. Come on.
Oh
For
my
sure.
god. Oh, okay.
All right, I'll put his link in my chat.
Okay.
Just-
Twitch.tv/GndmManiac.
GndM.
Awesome. Go there right now. Hashtag follow or Octothorpe
sure.
follow or whatever.
Hashtag. I hate hashtags. Anyway.
No, you don't. That's part of the life. It must be done.
Oh gosh, what were we looking at? Oh, weren't we double checking shield stats or whatever? Or do we?
No, you were talking about the rabbit.
The rabbit. The rabbit.
Oh,
Yeah.
rabbit type. Okay, so rabbit type. That thing's a fucking monster. Especially with its what do you call it? Missile? Is it a missile
Barrage or
launcher or whatever? So it basically comes with like two, I guess, side-mounted missile launchers, I guess you could say, and it stuns. I think after its full ammo goes out, if all 4 shots hit, it stuns. I think. I have to double check on that. I could be wrong, but I've kind of started to learn a combo where I would lead with the cannon, then the missiles, and then just like completely melt them with the MMP-80.
Sounds about right.
So that's a lot of damage. You guys said for a double sign assault. It almost sounds a
Yeah.
bit like the heavy arms to some degree, since you have a machine gun.
Yeah. That's what I was like. It just seems like a better heavy arms at this point.
It's a better Zaku cannon. That's what it is. It's a better Zaku cannon.
Yeah, just heavy arms and Zaku cannon kind of mushed together. I will say, what kind of numbers are you pulling with the MMP-80 though? That's one of my concerns. I was like,
For the MMP-80, if I'm not mistaken, I think I was pulling like a little over 200 a shot.
That's
Maybe
not too
I
bad.
could on a general over 200 a shot.
I get about close to 300 on the Zaku cannon, so that was one of my things.
I think we were talking about it has higher level guns for the Zaku cannon because it starts lower,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but they do have the same range mod
Yep.
baseline.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it will outpace it by a little bit.
Just a
in
little
that
bit,
regard, but it doesn't have as many options.
Well, and that's the
big
other thing. You have the second stun, which is a really big deal, especially when you get up to that 250 cost, and you get some kind of raid on you. I'll take
Mm.
any extra stun I can get.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
saying.
Just throw it all at him.
What'll be the better Jim Cannon? Jim Cannon 2. That's the better Jim Cannon.
Oh wait,
Sorry, as a
don't we
raid
have?
player, the best support is a dead support.
Oof,
Oh,
oof.
Yeah,
the words.
Feels bad, man.
Find me. That's my job.
Nothing personnel. My goodness.
But anybody get the Pale Rider? I got both level 1 and 2.
I got the level 2 of the new Pale Rider, and I got the level 2 of the ground Pale Rider.
I didn't get shit.
And then
I bought level 1 with tickets.
I bought one with tickets.
I actually finally had a good pool. I ended up with I think out of the two, I wanted the rabbit type, but for me, I was just like, oh well, cool, this is okay, I guess. And then I looked at it and I was like, oh well, I actually got 6 gold boxes and like 4 silvers or something, or 5 silvers.
Wow.
And I was
That's
just
really
like,
cool.
it was pretty nice, except for I was just like, my reaction was really lackluster.
Just
then-
staring at it like, well.
And then afterwards, I was like, "Oh wow, I actually had really good luck with this. Whoops, my bad. I should appreciate this, but I feel horrible for not."
You gotta ham it up a little bit.
But then like so I pretty much played it a lot of the day yesterday, and I really like the Gatling gun, and I really hate the Hades system. And yeah, like the Hades system is just pretty bad overall. Like, either take away the negative armor or give it more damage, one or the other, because you're just paper thin. Like, I feel like I was getting hit for Like if any support was hitting me, they were hitting me for like 2,000, and then immediately I feel like, which I didn't really double check, but it just felt like I was getting hitting for twice the damage from a cannon.
Well, in terms of like the whole Hades system thing, lore-wise, it's supposed to be like a whole, hey, let's just go all in with no defense type of thing. Because
Yeah,
what it was supposed to be used for was just an all-out assault type of mode to just dish out as much damage as possible with with max speed essentially.
All right. And on the ground type, it made more sense because you had that fuck off strong cannon that you could
Right.
bust out. So you were standing still, but you were doing it for that one shot. You got your big chunk. If you're feeling particularly ballsy, you can try to go in and cross them up for melee. But
Mhm.
you already have your output. It's all right there. You're not having to do damage over time slightly better. Depending on what you're hitting. And that's the scarier thing, I would assume, running a Gatling, especially in space, because now you have all these different vectors of attack that
yeah.
people can nail you from.
Well, and the thing is, just looking at what I saw in Emblem's chat there, someone was asking about the Hades and the exam. Like that's the thing. The exam gives you up damage, up defense, up speed,
Of defense, yeah.
and yeah, you have all three getting plus. And also, from what I can tell, it actually gives more damage than the Hades system, which is
Mhm.
supposed to be if it's supposed to be the YOLO ham system, then
Give it more YOLO ham.
it needs more damage if you're going to actually also reduce the defense. And that's my question: what's the reduction on defense?
Well, I think
But
it
yeah,
was
Look it up right
also
now.
yeah, that's what I was going to ask
I'm
if you're looking it up.
actually pulling up
I've got it ready.
okay, so you got both of the skills up?
For Hades, yeah.
Okay.
So you get plus 25 shooting correction, 25 fighting. You lose 10 defense. You gain 10 armor. I don't have like stack stats on exams if you wanted to pull it up, Mecha. But you get minus 35% on thruster consumption, and your turning performance goes up by 36. You
Sweet.
pick up emergency evasion level 2 and level 1 force injection, but it lasts 75 seconds.
Yeah,
So that's like what, a minute and a half?
and 15.
1 minute 15 seconds.
Okay.
But you get so I will say the rotating thing with that Gatling, you are a turret that can just stay on anybody or overturn really fast and miss a lot of shots. But
Go
like,
ham.
yeah,
That sounds like my high cost laser game.
yeah, right. That's I know that feel. But like the as far as it goes though, the Gatling gun is pretty nice. What I was hearing in chat was somebody said that the Hell Rider can beat the Unit 5 in a just Gatling off if you're not in Hades, but if you're in Hades, you lose.
Mm.
So again, it's kind of one of those things. Your defense
Kinda
dropped.
see that.
Yeah, I mean, you're supposed to really not try to get hit if you're going to go into that thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the
Yeah,
damage up just really like 25, so it's 25%. Really doesn't feel like I'm getting that much out of it, to be honest. Which I mean, the number from what I remember it was going from like I was hitting for like 150 and then I hit for like 170, which really isn't that much of an increase of time to kill. So that is one of the big deals. Where time to kill on myself is like 2 shots. Whoops, I'm dead.
Right.
So, but
Yeah,
when
you
you do
really
get to
gotta-
choose somebody,
You really do
And
gotta
I do
pop
have
that
both
like
pulled up
raid.
too. So just to kind of give you an idea, so like the difference for level 1 exams compared to like Hades, so the shooting correction is still a plus 25. Exam gives you 50 extra fighting correction, so like 50%, pretty much like 50% more damage.
yeah.
Your resistances go up by 5, speed increases by 10, thruster consumption goes down by 50%. Your turning performance increases by 39. You get emergency evasion level 2, but only lasts 60 seconds. Yes, I mean, I don't know. From what I see, like Hades is like is almost like a strictly worse exam.
Yeah.
Like I don't think the time extension makes it better in my opinion. Like exam definitely seems better in like every regard.
Yeah.
Almost. Well, it's not even almost. It is. Like
It is.
you don't get the skill I think is really bad force injection. But yeah.
Oh. Damn. Okay. I'll be right back. I'm sorry to do this to you guys. I'm just gonna mute myself for just about like 5 minutes or so. So I'll be right back.
Your chair will hold the spot down. We got you.
It's cool.
Level 2 is apparently different too. Let me pull up the level 3. There's BD3.
Oh, so each one of the exams, depending on the level of it, different.
Well, level 1 is on the Kai, the free Kai, the BD1, and the BD2. But the BD3 gets level 2. Yeah,
okay.
like they're saying, it is different. So the correction is down. It's 17 for shooting, 35 for fighting. You only get you get 7. You get 7 to resistances, which is 2 more than exams. Speed is up to 7. Thruster consumption goes down to 25%, which seems to put it more on par with Hades. Turning performance is only up by 27. You get the level 2 evasion, but it lasts 90 seconds or a minute and a half. So that's interesting. It's almost like it's more sustained. Like it's less of a burst, but it's more sustained over time compared to just like the minute of raw power you get.
That's kind of interesting. And it's funny that it's the same skill and it changes that much like that over a level difference. I was kind of expecting more of a solid increase. That's really weird.
Well, I think it kind of depends on what you consider. Because I mean, if you think about it like this, granted, BD3 can kind of do whatever, but I don't play it enough. But I think like BD3 favors shooting, so it's almost like it's giving it does.
Okay.
So it's almost like they extend the time, almost like let you, if you want to, be an exam shooter, if that makes sense. Like you don't have to go into melee.
Which is pretty nice, and especially when it has those that missile barf that you can lead up with into the melee. Considering it's not very exotic when it does its melee in the first place, single beam saber when it's going in. Like considering everything else that you can throw out first, it's a little bit of an afterthought, just so you can slap them down for everyone else to mess up.
But yeah, I think the Hades though is just way too. That armor decrease is just too much. Like I said,
It's
I just feel
definitely
paper thin as soon as I
feel
activate
like the options it has, especially the ground type, at least in my experience, it's pretty diverse. The same reasons that people are starting to like the G-Line Assault as a raid suit are the same reasons that I like the Pale Rider as a general.
Okay. As far as space with the space type though, I just don't use the Hades. But as far as the suit goes in general, like the Gatling's awesome, the beam's awesome. I mean, it's a great suit. Like, kind of in the same way, it's diverse, but it's like you just have.
You just have this fucking button every once in a while that you can slap.
I mean, really, to be honest, all I use it is kind of like, oh shit, I want iframe. That's literally all I use it for. Like,
people have been getting really good with their timing on that too. I've been noticing. Like that's just part of the meta of running those suits.
Yeah.
More so than ever before.
Like catching the iframes like right at the end, so you time the shot so it hits them as the iframes end. Yeah.
Well, and then the other thing with it though is where you're in space, you can pop it and then you'll drift. So they've got to hit a moving target at least.
That's true too.
So that's yeah. Whereas I guess on ground you'll stop and then start going again.
My apologies for that.
No problem.
No, you're good, Maniac.
Welcome
I'm just glad you made it back. You scared off that hack guy that invaded you.
I noticed that. That was funny.
But
watch out, guys. You might get invaded by a scary hack guy.
So are we still on the exam stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much that and the Pale Rider and stuff and
All right.
base
Cool.
type. But I mean, other than that, that's pretty much all I got to say about it though. So we're kind of at the
I
end of
can't
it.
say much. I've barely played it.
I don't fucking have any of them except for the ground type. So a lot of this is just footballing and watching Magnum play and stuff like that.
Yeah, but like I said though, it was kind of cool just having fun with the Gatling though. That's my favorite part of it. Give me a Gatling gun on just about anything. Again, the Unit
Oh,
5,
yeah.
whatever. I'll play it.
Unit 5
Dawn
does
Barrage,
whistle some good.
but it's pretty good. But yeah, we want to talk about the HLV problem now that we.
Oh my gosh.
It's old news, but it is still also kind of relevant.
Well, I
It
mean,
keeps changing the way a lot of things play.
I
I want a
didn't.
clip compilation of people who have like realized it without reading the notes like mid-match because I've seen a couple people do that.
Oh yeah.
Desperately trying to hop up there as they
They're
get
just like,
obliterated by everyone else.
what's
in the
going
enemy team.
on?
Like, no,
Like,
let me up. There was time.
I think there is what was it? Was it a 300 cost? Yeah, it was a 300 cost match on the port base. And I saw this Zaku 1 sniper. Like, he was trying so desperately trying to get up there.
What the heck? I can't get up here anymore. What?
And he just kept, like, I'd see him on like the big step, and he's just trying to get up there, trying
Poor
to get
Gun
up there.
Cannon 2, by the way. Like, that was their shit. It was in
Oh yeah,
videos
Gun
all the
Cannon 2
time.
would double jump all the way up there. Oh,
Couldn't do it no more. It's
Yeah.
like, what do I even have this jump for anymore?
Real quick too, just because we might have some people who play that don't know what an HLV is, but in port base, if you know the area around C, there's those like 3 gigantic, I don't know, Bulbasaur pods or whatever, like kind of just like in like around C
I'm
point.
never gonna be able to
Like
unsee that.
it's those 3 things. And if you know what a Bulbasaur is, like it's a big like an HLV is like a giant rocket that shoots things into space.
The layers. The big fuck off rocket things. That are
Yeah.
Yeah, but you could jump on them. You could. Used to.
Could, yeah.
Used to.
not no more.
I remember being Sniper 2 getting up on there too. Oh man, that was fun. Sniper 2s have like really good range on their sniper rifle. 400 costs. I was sniping Efreets like across the like I was even taking down customs from there.
Mhm.
And
I
then
feel like Sniper 2s are like snapshot kings now.
oh
That's kind of how they have to play it. They run that rifle.
Yeah, pretty much. I got up there like maybe once or twice just for fun, but I didn't really see too much point on getting up there unless you were using something like something that actually had the range. But
Hmm.
again, I was mostly in the Zaku cannon half the time, so I'd be up there, shoot like 2 cannon shots, and be like, okay, I'm jumping down, I'm done.
Oh, another thing about the HLVs when we used to be getting up on there, 450 and up, I would see G04s up there, like
Okay,
charging
yeah.
their mega
Charging?
launcher, like
This is
charging
like
their
a-
mega
that's
launcher, just sitting there, and I'm thinking, oh my god, someone's gonna die.
Yeah, I did get up there with my Unit 4. I did do that once or twice. But
I've never done that one. That's interesting.
Oh no! Like all of a sudden, I was at a 450, and I just see this diagonal beam just shoot across from nowhere, and I'm like, "What the heck?" And I look up, and I'm like, "Oh, there's a
no.
G04 up there."
yep. Someone's shield or someone is now dead.
Oh my gosh!
That's always a scary game to play when you have people still running the like anything that can charge a beam. And you see them sploot down, and more often than not, it will be a Unit 4. But every once in a while, it's like either it's going to have a massive beam, or it's going to be a type advantage beam. Either one is bad, but one I'm a little more willing to go after if it's that launcher.
Yeah. But so I didn't know it was such a big deal though for that
Oh.
change. Like
Oh yeah.
yeah, until we kind
Well,
of
it depends on who you ask. Like, because in some cases the HLV was pretty. It was a really strong position for a lot of suits and depending on who you ask, it makes certain skills more relevant too. The big one is
Double jump is pretty
whatever.
nice.
Is it just called double jump? Whatever the second jump skill that the
Yeah, the
Downtime
GndmManiac
2,
Glide,
Yeah.
whatever. I forget
stuff
what it's
like that
called.
has. Yeah.
Um,
I think the gliding thing just makes you fall slower,
Slower, yeah.
something like
Mhm.
that. Like I think there's a second one like boost jump or something like it's two
Aerial,
separate
it's
skills.
something controller.
Oh, hold on,
I
hold
could
on,
swear.
hold on. I know the GPO2 has it.
I mean, I got to
So let me
yeah,
get the
probably just look it up.
GPO2.
But like the level 4 version of the Zuda gets it, but it's just like with those two suits, you could pretty much just like run over to D, hop on top of the pillbox, and then with the full gauge and a double jump, you can jump from the pillbox right on top of the HLV,
Okay,
and you
so
could counter snipe and stuff.
it's either one of three skills that I'm thinking of. It's either the fall prevention, the airborne, or it's the glide structure. And I can't remember which one exactly it is. For the whole flying in midair part. Was it the glide structure?
Probably
Glide structure, I think, is falling down.
No, because that's the fall prevention.
But yeah, so
Um,
they just changed the HLVs though, and then the on the top of the elevator too, right? Bridge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know I
it's
would
not
jump
just
up on the
HLV. There's like
pillbox
two
every now and then.
tiers. Yeah, you can still jump on the pillbox, and you can still jump up on the lower tier of
But the higher one, no.
the bracket thing
Yeah.
or whatever on HLV.
yeah.
But you
just
can't get on the
jump onto
bridge,
the top ones.
the loading
Yeah.
bridge or whatever.
Which
I
is
think they
funny
called
because
it.
that's what they put that there for.
Yeah, that is
and
true.
yet they
because
still kept it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's the air control program that lets you jump again.
Wonder what their reasoning is for that change. Like that's my question. Like
Salt, very polite salt. on
Yeah, I
Twitter.
was thinking. Well, and then
Just
also,
sprinkled all over.
yeah, because one of the only ways to get the supports off of the HLV is like you had to use an airstrike, or you would have to get
Well,
somebody with the same amount of range to snipe at them.
yeah, I mean, I think competent counter sniping is a big thing, but I think ultimately they got rid of it because it was like I think it was fine. It made port base a little bit more dynamic. Like I think it's fine with it gone, and it kind of like it takes away some of the dynamic of the map with it being away. But I think they kind of just did it because they were trying to balance the GGGP BP
Yeah, the whole Grand Prix
MLG
thing.
event since it was, I don't know if they ever actually played on port
I
base
don't
at all
think
with
they
any of the
did. I
matches.
think they kept that off
But-
limits.
It might have not been
Yeah.
the time then, but I can understand that being a possibility.
yeah.
Well,
wonder if they'll-
the change happened before the official event started.
I know that the change happened before, but I think when they were preparing it, I think they already had the maps already made up on what to use, and then they just kind of forgot about port base. Because I have a feeling that's what they probably did.
So I wonder if they'll change it back at all, possibly.
I don't think they have any plans.
No, they're like the whole getting up top of the HLV thing. No, they will never
I
change
mean,
it back.
for me personally, it didn't seem like it was that. Like either, well, personally, I would either shoot at the target. If I couldn't hit them, I would just move out of their line of sight and just start positioning somewhere else. I mean, that was
and I
pretty
mean
much.
that was another thing, right? Like it was a limited use case, but some of the use cases for the suits that could manage it just had a lot of good output, depending on which one they hopped on and where everyone was shifting. It was very situational. But once they got up there and once it became a problem, like say you actually got stuck at a point if you're trying to advance, you're gonna have to deal with them for a hot minute.
Yep.
And that was, I
guess
think, where
that's
the
true.
salt started to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it kind of falls into two camps. Either you're the guy, two or three. Like you're the guy up there and you're playing the suit that really benefits from it, or you're the person down at the bottom who can't like
Just fuming and screaming, "Get the fuck down!"
yeah who can't like compensate because someone's up there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, maybe that's the majority. but it ultimately just comes down to like competent players can use it effectively and nerf it effectively, and like if you don't know what to do yet, it gets a little, it's just frustrating because you literally have a dude that has advantage on you, probably raining death on your head the entire match, and you don't know what to do. So I mean, on both ends, like just like how they changed space to make it more user friendly,
Mm-hmm.
it could be like the same thing. It's just something where like if people don't know what they're doing, like ultimately taking it out doesn't really impact a ton. Like it just more of this kind of sucks, and it makes a couple of suits a bit worse. But it probably makes the game a little bit easier to approach, because we won't have people who are like, well, I don't want to play port based because I don't want to get laser rain from the HLVs or something.
Right.
True. Yeah. It's kind of that kind of reminded me of a thought I had here recently, where, well, I think it might have been a game yesterday. We kind of talked about the bomb a little bit,
Mhm.
and not to get too much into planting bombs, but as far as like in a competitive setting, I don't think the bomb really, that game type, fits in too well, because like what we did was we had somebody DC, which can't do this specifically, this part anyway, in a competitive setting. But we had a guy DC. We started ahead, then the dude DC'd. We started losing. Well, when we got behind, we were behind about 1,000 points. We had one guy go plant the bomb, and then we just didn't deploy.
Oh yeah.
They
Just,
had
yeah, that's right.
they had too much to deal with trying to go back to defuse, and even though they could push, we didn't deploy, so we had the suits drop, and it was just, they couldn't get enough points, so we destroyed their base, and they couldn't get into our base to destroy ours. So one of those situations, like, you really could take
That sounds
advantage
like
of
a
that.
good thing.
Yeah. So, well, in the sense of like being able to push an advantage, if you're the winning team in a competitive match, all you do is just push ahead, plant a bomb in somebody else's base, and then you're pretty much guaranteed to win.
Which I mean I don't see the problem with it. I mean, if like you're getting beaten badly enough, you're probably not gonna come back.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Like I don't know, I find it kind of hard to really phrase, but I think it does a good job of being both a catch up and a win more mechanic, and it also kind of potentially forces the team that's getting bombed, and in some cases the team doing the bombing, like you said, of the non-deploying thing, to kind of just decide on the fly how they want to handle it. Like I think it's a really powerful tool, that adds a lot more complexity to the game.
Well,
I think pilot com actually be a little bit easier, but
see,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
true.
it's good in a competitive environment.
well,
I hope that is an
I don't
update
know.
later on too.
Maybe in the quick match though, it was kind of cool, like, or in the rated match, but not in the actual, like, in a tournament. I don't know how I'd feel about that, but it definitely led to that game being very unique. Uh-oh.
I don't know if Gustav was trying to talk to us, but he is muted.
No, I was talking on my end.
Oh, okay. But yeah, because all of a sudden I just saw the screens blink for a second, and then
Yeah, that too.
nothing.
Like, oh.
I was just
Yeah,
like, oh
mine's
no,
slow, too.
that was weird.
It's probably just Discord problems.
Discord problems, yeah.
But
Is true.
I don't know. Like I think in regards to you know a competitive type of thing, like it's like I said, I think it's even more of a reason to have it in there. I don't think it like sways the battle um, too heavily. And like I said, it's just a really good tactical tool. And if like your team is pushed up to the point where you can create that big advantage, it's fine. And more importantly, like battle operation is a game where you fight with mobile suits and as a pilot. So it's just it's like the biggest, it's like the biggest pilot impact besides taking points that you can do. And I mean, honestly, if I think they take it out, they might pilots and just have you play like simple battle, and you can
Yeah.
just
Yeah, that's true.
capture points.
I wonder how, if they put it to a vote, or like just
Or
did a
weekend
survey
battle.
how many people would actually like
Prefer
prefer
that.
simple battle over what we got now, or at least that aspect of it. You know, not randomized drop points or like everyone being able to be wherever they want. You know,
Just the
keep it more
capturing thing.
conquesty, but like, you know, crouching to repair, not having a pilot, that sort of thing.
I personally don't think it should go that way. I think it's fine in a weekend game mode because you want the matches. The matches are meant to be like kind of quick paced, high speed kind of thing. But
Is it the same
pilot,
time limit?
I
Think so.
well, I think I want to say target select or whatever it's called.
Target
the
shuffle.
Variant ace. Yeah,
Mhm.
target shuffle is a minute shorter than a normal match. I think.
Mhm.
Like
Okay.
I know it's not 8 minutes.
No, it's a if I'm not mistaken, I thought it was a 6:15.
Wow.
Yeah,
That was a 6
it's
minute
like it's
15
not as long.
second.
I don't think it's as long as a normal match.
You know, I really never paid attention to it.
And
I went in and thought it was the same time passing.
I'm just
Well,
so
no,
caught up with
no.
who's gonna be the next one. Like,
Well, because how the whole time frames for each person being quote unquote the ace or target
Mm.
is within a what? I thought it was like a minute and a half time limit. So
Well, I think it just lasts a minute because like I want to say like the first minute is just like a normal ice match where you play like
Yeah.
the first 5 with nobody
Right.
selected, and then they start the target shuffle or whatever. I'm not sure about simple battle. Like I think it's a normal 8 minute match. I don't play the weekend battles enough, honestly.
I don't do a lot of simple either. That's why I was asking.
I think I've only done like 2.
Well, I think simple battle's like the worst game type at the bunch.
Yeah, I like target
they
shuffle a
should
lot.
they should make it something else. Target shuffle's great. I think they should change ace mode to target shuffle. I think it's
Just straight up.
right.
I mean, I think target shuffle's way better in ace mode.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, I prefer it.
like I think ace probably promotes a little bit more of a team dynamic, but I
does,
think
when it
I think in the
happens.
case where you're picking up groups, I think target shuffle's a little bit more like random queue friendly personally.
yeah.
But I could be wrong.
I think it would be a little bit better for rated. Just an extra challenge. People always
I think
keep
it'd be
their
more
heads on a
enjoyable
swivel.
overall too.
Yeah, for the
And
random
then you could
queues,
put, like,
definitely.
the OG ace could just be on free battle or whatever the hell it's called.
Right. Because I mean, in some cases, it keeps everybody on their toes. It prevents a particular suit from getting bullied. Like it sucks when you're the pixie and you're the target for that minute.
Yep.
But
Oh,
at
there
least
goes my
I'm
stealth.
yeah. At least I'm not like doing. At least I don't like I've had a really hot match. I mean, although in some cases, like, why are you playing the pixie in an ace match? But you know, at least I'm not having a hot match, and then all of a sudden my stealth is negated for the last 3 minutes of the game
Right.
or something
Yeah.
like that.
Or even like the certain people who play support and stuff like to play that sniper type play style, you know, and then they've just been popping off, hitting every shot, or the enemy team's just
Yeah,
been
just
standing out there, and then boom,
Confirming the shit out of them.
yeah, and then they become the ace, and it's like, well, you're playing sniper style, so they're just gonna not be anywhere in your line of sight now since you're the ace. So
Well, I think that kind
And
of
they'll rush you.
you
Yeah.
coordinating with your team and then backing you up at that point. Like
Yeah.
you just change a little bit. You essentially, I would say you essentially just move up, stay with your team. They set you up, and you just, instead of long distance sniping, you just switch to putting
Snapshots.
down dogs. Like he's on the ground. Like you can stay kind of far back, but I would literally just like lord over and just like dead.
Oh yeah, you have to you have to push up though. That's like, which I mean the example I'm kind of referencing was where I threw up a video of a guy that didn't do that and his team was just bashing him to death on the ground, and I caught it at the end of the game. I'm like, well, I probably shouldn't push up, but let's go. What in the world is going on over here? And they were just meleeing their support type just nonstop, and I was like, wow, that's a thing. But like, but yeah, he didn't push up at all, and he became the ace, and that was pretty much it.
So they
Like,
just all went AWOL and wailed on him, like, what's
yeah,
wrong with you?
yeah, push up, yeah. Like, I was just like, what in the world? Which,
Wow.
yeah, like,
Well, I mean, examples like that kind of transition into something else that we're going to talk about.
well, I
playing
mean,
with fire.
Yep.
I mean,
Just
you know,
rain down banhammery fire.
the new punishment system. I mean, yeah, that's a thing.
Oh boy.
So,
Just-
smooth segue. Yeah,
I
there we go.
tried.
Now for the new
I count
punishment
on you.
system,
Uh,
does it also include the custom matches as well?
So, what I understood from reading the notes was that you'll get a message popping up saying, "You should not do this." But that's it.
No, no, no. That's
Like,
not very nice.
that's about it. Other than
There
that,
have been other games that do that. Like PlanetSide 2 warns you and tries to be specific about what you're doing when you shoot people on your team and all that. And it makes a different noise to indicate that it was a friendly hit, confirm, stuff like that. So that's not super uncommon in other games, as opposed to how immediate the punishment's going to be. That's a different matter altogether.
yeah, like, so I was thinking it was already in. So it comes in what, with rank? Is that where it's coming in at, or is it?
Well, when they first announced it, it was for the August update, like director letter.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And usually,
Okay.
usually that means it would be rolling in with whenever they do like the big patch, like the ones where you have to actually go in and download
Yeah, so I
the
thought it was in
update.
already, but
Yeah, I was thinking it was in already too. Just because one of the apparently somebody got kicked for shooting a teammate or something. Um, that was just a pilot outside their suit rolling around on the ground. And that's what that was just one random Reddit post. So I was like, oh, I guess it's already in. I haven't
I
seen any
guess it's
messages.
true.
So, oops. Um, but yeah, if it's
From
not in yet, then I'm kind of curious to see how effective though that the shooting actually, like how far you have to go. Which I guess if there is a pop-up message in custom games, we could just do a custom game and test that
figure it
out.
out, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, that's another thing. I wonder if there'll be controls to rule that out, considering since you can curate your players a little bit more, or if that's actually going to be something across the board.
What do you mean?
Like, are they also going to have those rules for like griefing and stuff be in custom matches?
Oh,
Is that something
okay.
that they
I
mentioned?
gotcha. Mm,
Because for rated,
Well-
sure, because there's a little bit at stake, and if they're doing it in any other public
Well,
lobbies,
that's
then
what I'm
you don't want
saying.
people doing that shit.
I think it's just a message that pops up saying, "Hey, shouldn't be doing that." But this is a
Mhm.
custom game, so we're not going to kick you.
Right. So
Like
that
I
doesn't.
think that's what
Well,
it does.
I would look at it like this: you can already get the same negatives for leaving a custom match that you can for leaving a rated match. So I don't
Ooh,
see why the current penalty system wouldn't apply to customs as well.
that's interesting.
Oh, really?
That's something I
Yeah, I
didn't
mean,
consider because I didn't know
So
that.
maybe
I've
it
had
just won't kick you, but you could still get a penalty. Oof.
Mm.
Yeah, because I mean, right now I've had like viewers in our like stream night games, lose their connection during a match and get put into a penalty. So
Ooh.
it's during customs. So like it should already do it, and I doubt I'm pretty sure it'll extend to the updates as well. Like they probably didn't specifically mention it because the intention is that it's already encompassing all matches, so there's no reason to point it out because it's going to affect the whole game.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I know I got one penalty, and penalties are brutal, dude. Like
Yeah,
yeah, I
it
got
was
one.
2 hours.
Which I guess it, I got some sleep technically, but it was when I first got into this game, and I was like, oh yeah, I gotta play, gotta keep playing, yeah, I gotta get that rank up and get all that DP, buy some shit,
I
and
remember
it
you
was
mentioning that. Yeah.
yeah, and then it was just like I was just like, okay, it's like 3 in the morning, I'm waiting for a queue to happen, come on, where are we at? And then just oh crap, oh no, let's get another game real quick though, and then fell asleep again, and then I did that like 3 times, and then I wake up and it's
It's
like,
like, well, lockdown.
and well, I mean the lockout
Yeah.
happened, and I slept all night, so I missed the
Mhm.
lockout part. So someone was
It
like,
is
"What
added,
did you
by
have
the way.
to? What?
It is added already.
Oh, it is?
It was
Okay.
update. Yeah, it was update version 0.115 or whatever, and they implemented it on the 29th of August.
Hmm. So I guess the other thing to keep an eye out would be to see if anyone else has griped about it in like Reddits or other posts. I haven't really heard too much during like different people's streams though.
Yeah. Well, then I guess
Yeah, I
that
haven't heard
Reddit post
anything.
was correct then, as far as.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing though. Like the dude was just an AFK guy that just got out and started rolling around on the ground, and the guy that got kicked was just shooting at him, being like, I guess, come on, play, stop rolling around, be useful, Which,
Yeah.
Yeah, don't be the fun. Don't be the
Don't get
police
baited.
of rules.
yeah, don't get baited.
Don't
Well,
be
and
the rule
also
police in a match.
with that too, my point is, it's just like, okay, you got an AFK guy. Well, you're down one player essentially, so you have pretty much somehow win or pad your score as much as possible to defeat your rival.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much your two options, and like that way you at least don't lose as many points as you can. And if you're taking your time to go rage at the dude, then you're not gaining any points. Yeah, and instead of padding the loss, you're just going to take that full -17, and that's no fun.
Well, in terms of the penalty system, besides the whole, hey, don't like it, whatever happened to like the AFK penalty?
That's still there.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that's
Yeah.
still there. Okay.
I was actually just talking about it with them as well. But yeah, I've never gotten an AFK kick, but I assume if you get removed from a match for being AFK, it treats it the same as if you like disconnect.
Disconnected. It does. Because
Yeah,
I
so-
remember being in a ranked match, not ranked, but rated match. I had to do something really quick, and we were already up by a couple of points, and I'm like, okay, this will take like 20 seconds. Well, I come back, and the game's like, hey, you've been kicked. You were sitting still for too long, and I'm like, oh, whoops.
Well,
Yeah,
fuck
that was.
me.
Oh, and
I wonder how long
you
it
can't.
takes.
You have
Oh, it
to.
doesn't take that long.
Yes, it's only like 2 minutes.
Not even like
Oh,
Like a
wow.
minute
30
and a half.
seconds. Like 30 seconds.
Well, it's more than that because I did every now and then I was just like, you know what? I've got stuff to do. I've got an
Hmm.
idea. I'm gonna get me a container. So let's go into one of those container games with that 1v1 and see if I can get a container finally. Like I'm up doing dishes or whatever, cleaning the house, and then I'm just like, I could just rubber band the controller, no big deal. No,
No.
nope, you can't do
Not at
that. You have to change direction, or dodge roll is the one that you'll see.
People do a lot.
Somebody gets out of their suit and they'll just dodge roll in space, and that'll count as doing a different action.
Right.
So
Which is
unless you're,
interesting that they made it that intricate too.
yeah, I was really surprised. I was just like, I can rubber band this, and then I tried it again, and then I see the thing up. Hey, you're about to be kicked because you're AFK. Are you sure you want to continue doing nothing? And then I was
You
just
sure you wanna
like,
keep fucking around.
yeah. Then I was like, well, let's rubber band the gun and just have it shoot. Nope, that doesn't work either. So you have to continue. So I just pretty much had a controller in my pocket while I was cleaning the house, and I just hit the stick
Just
back and forth
smacking
every now and then, or just hit the side and just had it in my pocket all the time. That way, like, it kind of would move on its own.
The big
Do
brain.
you live with anybody?
Huh?
You don't mind me asking a personal question? Do you live with anybody right now?
No.
No. No one asked you, is that a controller in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
There it is. Well played. Well played. I'll give him that one. Yeah. There.
Oh, I needed that.
But yeah, the as far as the penalty system though, so I guess we haven't really heard too many things. That's the only thing I've seen on Reddit was just that. So
Yeah.
I guess
It does detect though.
I guess
Sorry,
it
man, go ahead.
works well enough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
no news is good news, which means it hasn't been. Either
Yeah.
we just haven't had a lot of intentional griefers trying to test the system in our games, or it's really a little bit more lax than we thought it was, or it's just that pinpoint.
Yeah.
It's one
People
of
could've
those, or
gotten
maybe
smart.
a combination. Just realized that they were so intricate with the AFK one. It's like, well, maybe we shouldn't fuck with it too much.
So what
Yeah,
about
I mean, it probably works well.
like what do you guys think about, should they change the like if you lose, or sorry, if you leave a game, it just counts as a lost game and you lose just whatever standard point loss. What do you think about that?
I completely agree. They should. If you disconnect
Yeah.
from a game, you should get a game loss.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because I think
mean-
that's I think that's honestly the root cause of why people leave games for the most part. Like there'll be a few people
Yeah.
who just have a bad situation happen or legitimately disconnect, but I
Yeah.
think most people leave because they don't want to lose rank or rating, and
Mhm.
once they do that, it'll go down significantly.
Right.
Like
And
more
it's
so
not
than any
only
penalty they can put in.
it's not even just an advantage for them, it's for the rest of their team because they get that modifier as well.
Yeah.
It mitigates it a little bit on top of that.
And see, that's the other thing too. So just, I mean, just the numbers, what ends up happening then, just with rating, just math behind it, is everybody ends up climbing higher faster. Like the overall average will be higher, and there's a lot of people that put a decent bit of stock whenever there's a any kind of rating or rank in a game. So it just kind of diminishes that, and I mean, like, which for me, I'm just kind of like, cool, whatever it is. If I feel like I'm doing well and I'm improving, yeah. But I do think if they do that, it'll definitely diminish the overall growth of rating going up. And then, I mean, if they still have um the modification though, I think that's fine if they still have the modification. Therefore,
Mhm.
if the person's still going to take a loss, they're not going to disconnect unless they actually, their PlayStation explodes or
Yeah.
something,
The
then
modifier is more
yeah.
so for the rest of the team, just so that they
Yeah.
don't have to,
Yeah,
like worry about those
It's-
dramatics.
I don't think they. I think they should adjust it some. I think it does suck. Like maybe make it more dynamic. Maybe make it recognize when a person leaves. Because it's really lame when you start a match and someone disconnects. Like you all drop out of the
Yeah.
sky and your friend doesn't quite make it down.
Yeah.
And you're just down a person the entire match.
You
You know.
just drifted off somewhere else, like
Yeah. Like he's maybe they're on the high gog and their rocket didn't detach properly, so they just shoot off into space with it or something like that. And,
You're right on target. Where are you going? I'm in fucking
Oh, come
orbit.
back.
What do you think?
We need you. It'd be nice if I didn't lose any points for that. Yeah, dino reentry. But that's a good thing. I think I should keep that in.
Yeah, they should keep the adjustment score, but they definitely need to put in, just like if you DC, I mean, it sucks for the people who legitimately DC, but just eat a loss and just make it
Yeah,
the match average. So it's just a 10 point, or if you were predicted to win, it's a 11 point. And then if you're predicted to
yeah, it
lose, it's
depends on
an
what
8
rank
point.
you're in.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Oh, I noticed Mecha Nerd brought up something on Emblem stream here. He was saying like, heck, just implement it for people who refuse to get in ready up in the lobby for the
Yeah.
whole.
That's one of my
Okay.
bigger issues in the first
Yeah.
place. Some of them do get penalized for leaving if you're already like locked in, but
Mhm.
I mean, what?
beyond that, there's not a whole
I-
lot you can do without really having to be super specific with the action.
Right.
But I mean, I don't think they should be penalized like that though. Honestly, no, you're like it sucks. The only thing you're really losing is a little bit of extra time in Menu Simulator, the game. But I mean, I think that's unfair to them. Like when you set up the penalty system like that, you're sent like it kind of works both ways. Both people are telling each other how to have fun, but I
Mhm.
mean, those people that do that are people
Well-
enjoy playing games and being a tryhard, and they have fun doing that. And if like they get into their match and you really want to play X non-meta suit, whatever. Like why? Like I don't think they should. I don't think they should get a game loss because they didn't want to play that game. Like I hate it too because I like to play meme suit whenever I'm playing. Yeah, but I think it's unfair to those guys. I'm looking out for you, sweaty tryhards. I got you.
But like, so
But
I agree. Like what they, you look at other games, League of Legends, I haven't played Dota in a little while. I forget what they have. But just any of these games like that, like if you leave you get a dodge penalty.
Mhm.
Used to, I think League was you get one free, and then
Mhm.
they just found there was too many leaving. So, and the dodge penalty is just a wait time. So a lot of games you have a wait time, or there's nothing the first time, and then you have a wait time. And it might just be they could just do that instead of having the full on it count toward your point of getting
Yeah.
a penalty, because um, at that point what you would do is you get one free, everybody gets one, and then 5 minutes. Then if you dodge again that day, it just resets at reset every time. Then one free, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. Then you got to wait a day. And that's pretty much
Right.
how League works. It's like only I think with League it's instantly 5 minutes, and then it's like 30, and then like whatever after that.
And
So
concessions
Exactly, quick.
with that too is League. I think we were talking about this before in another chat, but League matches are typically a half hour, right? Like they last a hot minute unless you get completely steamrolled. As opposed to where we have a set time per match in GBO2, regardless of how well or shitty you do. So you are losing time. It annoys me, but at least you know that after that match, if you proved your point and did well in the suit, or if they yeeted out and you were waiting for a couple more minutes, you're still gonna get into another match relatively quickly.
yeah.
So
So
there are times where it's really bad, but the downtimes between matches early on, where like sometimes I was waiting even like upwards of half an hour. We just have a better player base that's more consistent now. So a
You talk
lot
about
of that
battle
is mitigated.
operation, like
Yeah,
queue times, right?
yeah,
Well, I mean, even more so than the player base, it's just Bamco or the dev team decided to actually make lobbies work better.
yeah.
So you didn't have a bunch of just like floating rooms with like 2 or 3 people waiting for a game to start.
That was a
yeah,
big change too.
Yeah.
that was huge when that happened. Like there was just, oh my gosh, I remember trying to just queue with a friend before we even had the ability just to hit square and queue. Like it would be just like, okay, dude, I'm in a group of 4 right now. Okay, we're just gonna sit here, keep queuing, you know, and then like he'd finally get in and it'd be like, okay, there's 5 of us now.
It was so hype when you actually saw people come in.
Uh,
It's
But
like being a streamer on a streamer, just like you see the number tick up, you're like, could it be?
Right.
Yeah, it used to be rough. But I can't remember exactly when it came out. Magnum was did you start before they implemented like the rooms closing at the end of matches? Like how long have you been playing the game itself?
I've been playing. I think it was May, somewhere in there.
Of this year or
So
last year?
this year.
Okay, I want to say you wouldn't have had to worry about that. Like I
Wait,
can't. I'd have to
Yeah, I
look it
think it
up.
was
it
in
might
by then.
it might have been
But
March then, because I was playing when they, maybe it was, have I really been playing longer than that? I wanted to
Maybe.
say it. I think it was March then.
Because
yeah,
I
I have to look it
started.
up. I can't remember.
I think I started like what, like a couple of weeks after the game released or something like that. Because I know
I
I
thought you
found
played the beta.
No, I did not play the beta.
Hmm.
I did not
Because I know it
because
was.
I found Emblem. I think like probably about I don't know how long ago that was. That was like a year ago or something by now. But even then, like I actually never knew that Battle Op even existed. I was just looking for like people that were playing Gundam, and I'm like, oh, what's this Gundam battle operation? So I'm like watching this, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. No, and
Little did
that's
Maniac know he made the worst mistake of his life.
right.
It's the beginning of the end for Maniac.
Yeah, but yeah, that was it. Has it been? Well, I know it has to have been like I guess like a little less than a year for me playing the game. I
Well,
guess
you
I
said
don't
you
know.
started like a few weeks in. I mean,
A
it'd be
few
over a year.
weeks in because now that I'm thinking about it, because I remember when the Easy 8 and Goof custom dropped, and if I'm
Hmm.
not mistaken, that dropped in like what, September?
I can't remember. I'd have to like look through backlogs.
It was
Or
pretty close.
I've heard some people say like
that was
watch
around the
monthly
time.
videos.
Because I remember the October update.
Yeah, October
But
update,
I-
had the Desert Gym, and a couple
Right. Because I played before the October update started.
Hmm.
So I played in September, but I remember playing even before then. Like maybe the start of maybe September 1st or 2nd or something like that. Like really there, because the game dropped in what, August 28th or something like that?
The
was it, like-
beta?
It's
No,
hard to
like
say.
the
Depends-
actual game. Because
depends
the
on
actual
which site you look at.
because the actual site, like Battle Ops site, says like August of something.
Mm.
Actually, let me take a look at this here. 'Cause I could have swore it said like August. October 24th.
Well,
And that's odd
well,
because I remember it.
No, yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. Don't look at the English site for that. I don't know what
Yeah.
that's supposed
That's
to
when
be.
they started.
Yeah. I think
think-
if you go onto Twitter, I think its birthday is August 26th.
Okay. Because I do remember the October update. That's the thing. I do remember it. I guess what they were probably meaning was the English update then for October.
I don't know what that date means. Like I think it says like 24 October like
Well,
18
the 20.
or
Well,
something
no,
like that.
because in the Japanese calendar, it's the day, month, year.
Right, but that even if you look at it like that, it still doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's still too late. That's just
Yeah.
in general.
So I
They
remember
release
talking about
English.
it. So like if it's day, then the game came out on the 24th of October in 2018, which would have been after. Like it was definitely out in August. I mean, if it's a US release date, like it comes out on the 18th of October in the year 2024. So I mean, I don't know. Coming soon.
When did they do the English?
The English update happened in like October. I do remember. that.
Also, Maniac, I'm
Yes.
getting told that the Easy 8 Goof Custom banner was on August 16th.
Oh. Oh, so okay, so then.
So you've been on for a hot minute if that's the case.
So okay, so I've been on that then.
I mean that the game came out before the anniversary. Why is the birthday the 26th of August? That's interesting. I'll have to look into that. Let's keep going.
Which, as far as the banners, I'm looking here in March 2019, and I'm noticing that the Agzaku command is a thing, and I got that in a box. So I've been playing before that for sure. So I think I might have started in January.
Okay, so after the Christmas event, I have to look. I know I'm pretty long in the tooth. I know Beta Boy, but like I think I started like halfway, like week 1, 2 of the game. Back in my day when supply drops used to have parts on the banner rolls.
And
Ooh,
cosmetics.
cosmetics.
Oh
You
man.
want a shiny mobile suit? Here is a decal for you. Oh, sorry, decal.
Yeah, nice little stick.
Yeah. Here's that thing for your avatar on the base camp. Yeah.
Oh no.
Gross.
First day of beta was April 20th. Oh, interesting.
damn.
And at that point, it comes out whatever the official release of the game is. Well, that's weird though. Why would the anniversary be in August? Like, I wonder when the game officially came out. Because if it is April, that's
Because the
How long was it,
anniversary happened in July.
Hey guys. We got 2 more subjects to go
July.
here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
we kind of got off on a tangent there.
Wow, they really off.
But
yeah, wow.
what spurred that? I remember getting asked when did I start? Because
No,
a queuing system. That's what it was.
Queuing system.
Yeah.
And then it just went off into its own thing.
But anyway, actually yeah, okay. So do we want to go to the GPO1 FB and go ahead and talk about that whole banner, the 3-step thing with that?
Sure.
Show hands who got it in the first place.
Wait, like the first roll?
Me.
Like
well,
the
no,
first
I mean
roll
first
or
roll
the...
or even just getting it at the end, depending.
Oh, I got it.
Well,
at the
you
end.
could only get it at the end.
Yeah,
Like,
you
Yeah.
can
it
only get
wasn't
it
in
at
the
the
It's
end.
lottery.
guaranteed. I didn't get it because I didn't have.
So is it in the lottery now?
No,
No.
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 Oh,
it is
really?
yeah.
That's why
Yeah,
it's
that
a
was-
subject. That's the big
Oh
thing.
man, I did not realize that part.
Yeah,
Now
that was the secret suit. That was the
Oof.
suit that would not come back until
That was the carrot on the sticks because they made it
Whenever.
pretty apparent.
yeah. They specifically said, "Hey, this is not going to be in the lottery after this."
Mm.
So
Yeah, they just said like it'll be released at a future date,
yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
about it.
Because they've already done it with other limited mission suits. You know,
Hmm.
it's a precedence. If they didn't do it even after that, it would make them piss. But
Yeah.
the bigger thing about this is the fact that you have a threshold until you can actually even get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a
Well,
problem.
yeah,
And it has a monetary threshold,
Yep.
not just you being a sweaty tryhard.
how deep is your wallet?
Mm-hmm.
Well, have
Yeah,
they
it definitely sets up an interesting precedent.
did anything with the like where the guns in the RT shop? Like, have they done that with anything else?
Yes, they have. Alex Bazooka, I thought. No, Alex Bazooka was in the rolls.
Yeah,
Well,
was-
if you want to,
'cause
if you want a
I
more
actually
of
got
like,
it out of a crate too.
if you want a closer example to the GPO1 FB and its unique beam rifle, the closest example I could think of would be the ground type beam rifle. Before you could only get the ground Gundam for pre-ordering the game, I think when it first came out or some nonsense like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
And the ground type beam rifle was locked. Well, until like the BD2 and stuff came out, I think it defaults on that.
Yeah,
or
BD1
whichever
did have
BD1. No, because that had its own.
Oh, it has the
it had its own
Kai.
machine gun or whatever.
Shit, that's right.
But it can use the ground type beam rifle, I believe. But before like those suits had defaulted with it, like BD2 and stuff like that came out, the only way you could get the ground type beam rifle was to have the ground Gundam, which started with it. And they've recently been putting it into the EZ8 starts with the bazooka, and the ground type beam rifle is a secondary on it, I think, but I'm not sure actually. I had both, so I'm not sure. Sorry.
No, it's the beam
no,
rifle.
The beam rifle was.
Is it the beam rifle?
I thought.
Yeah, because I
could have
went a
swore the
hot
beam
minute
rifle.
without having the rocket. So I was just
Yeah.
running the beam, and then
Okay,
eventually
so
I was like,
they actually
finally I
put on the
got it,
EZ8?
and now I can do the
Okay.
typical bazooka.
Because I
Okay.
got the EZ8 on my free drop in the when I first started.
Yeah, so it was either
And,
the rifle or the MG, but it wasn't the
it was
rocket.
the rifle. I do remember having the rifle right off the bat.
Okay.
Okay.
In that case, that's one of those problems where like I had it ever since. I never realized it was a
Yeah.
different thing. But before the EZ8 came out, that would be the closest thing I could think about it, where you were locked out of that weapon unless you had the paid content until they released it on another suit. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's the whole step thing though to get it. That was I don't know. Well, and my biggest thing is the suit actually is now pretty much if you play unrestricted space, that's about all you get.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing but that.
Yep.
Like literally that is everything that is on like and then you have that one guy trying something else. Luckily
Mhm.
I have it, so I was playing it, but at the same time I'm like, man, I would like to oh wait, I've got this thing, so I might as well use it. But
Yeah, when the banner ended up happening, like within like the next 24 hours, people had unrestricted custom matches in space, and I knew exactly what it was.
Oh yeah,
Stardust memory for sure.
it really did seal
But-
that deal.
I think there's a couple of ways to look at the banner though. One like it is a bit paywally, but I think it's really easy to accumulate tokens. There are some things that I wish like had a bit of a better payoff, but at the end of the day, like I think the game's pretty generous, and this banner kind of sets up an interesting precedent where if I could do a few extra rolls and get a guarantee on a particular mobile suit, like I think that's actually a pretty good deal. Depending on which one you want and how much you want it. Granted, like I think it's okay if leaving it for high-end suits and maybe have a chance to get it in normal pools or whatever. But depending on how to do it, like as long as they don't have like obviously and again, this is the first, so maybe they do it later, and it's like a little bit more balanced. I don't know. It might not be the worst thing ever, but if they use this as a way to implement some kind of system to guarantee pulls, I think it'll be good. But if it's just like a way to coax people to be a whale, like
Yeah.
I think it'll create a bad imbalance of power and whatever cost the suit's in. Assuming it's good,
Yeah.
which it
especially.
would kind of have to be.
Yeah. That's
Understrict
the
is
big
a
thing.
bit of a clusterfuck right now, anyway. So like keeping them very high end is probably the safer bet, just because it has so many other things to like bug up against in the first place. But I guess the question then comes: how heavily will those suits be scrutinized when you do have that threshold, and in terms of their worth? Like if we do have one that's not, that dominant in space, or is kind of so wherever it lands, will people just be like, well, it's not worth it, and just ignore it?
Well, I think I think they'll probably set the bar high. Honestly, like I think if the case of what you mentioned happens, everyone like the suit will be appealing enough where people would want to. I've assumed the suit would be appealing enough where people are like, yeah, that suit's awesome. I want to get it, kind of like how the FB was. So they're already gonna have it. I think in their case, they would probably just get a lot of backlash, and if it isn't powerful enough, they have it behind a paywall, they would probably buff it. It's kind of hard to say. I think that would kind of set a new precedent too, because I think most buffs on suits either occur because either the power, like I think in most cases, go off of the game data. I think the preliminary buff on or nerf on the GBO2 was the first time I ever seen anything like that. So I don't know. I've never seen it act quick on stuff like that. But if it's like player outlash because they paid money, they may work a little bit faster on it.
I kind of would like to see them do something like what you said with it, and go ahead and make it to where you get a guaranteed suit, and then you like old suits maybe even, or whatever, just kind of have that step up ready to go. But as far as like coming out with a new suit, if they did that again, and it's going to be a new suit, hopefully they don't have it just limited to the step up thing, or it'll be out for everybody to get in a random box next week or something, kind of thing. But what if it is going to be something that is strong, which I mean, probably going to be that kind of thing, maybe give people that don't like to spend a lot of money on the game a little bit of warning. Like maybe drop a hint. Like obviously people figured some kind of suit from that series was going to come out. So if they had like an extra week to go ahead and save a few more tokens, then as far as people who do save money on games like that, they could have kind of had a buffer week to start saving.
In the context of the full burden, we were talking about that suit pretty much throughout most of the anniversary, because it's like, well, they skipped out to the Stamen. Where the fuck is it? It hasn't shown up. We have all these other ones. So I don't know if that was intentional, but it did kind of have that impulse buy effect, I would assume, on people who could just throw down for it. Because, oh my god, here it is. They actually did do it, the crazy bastards. And so now we can just, pull down, make sure we get it before it ends, because it was at the end of the event anyway. And there you have it.
Yeah.
Gustav, real quick, I don't know what's going on in your chat, but I feel like after week 1, everyone was like, "God, this sucks to be a support. Where's my 550 support?
Yeah.
GBO0,
Oh yeah,
please."
that's.
Oh yeah. No, that was that was me,
let's
man.
Not
like
act like supports were being salty. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? All these motherfuckers just zooming around and just decimating me with bazookas and beams, and just can't stop them. It's too much. And then we get the GM Cannon 2, and it's like, that didn't fucking help. That didn't help at all. What the hell's wrong with you?
Really, guys?
Another suit that people wanted, but it was such a I don't want to say letdown, because it is nice in some of the lower cost games, but it was not a solution. A nice inclusion, but not a solution.
Yeah, I want my 550 support, not the Zommel, not that.
With the dodge roll.
With the dodge
with the dodge roll.
You know it's gonna be the Zommel. They'll just give it enhanced. It'll just have enhanced tackle or something stupid like that.
But that won't be a baseline, because the level 2 Zommel already exists. And
it's already gonna be a 600 grand for Gundam. I'm already counting on that.
Yeah,
Like I don't rate main,
Zommel's
I think supports me above.
Zommel level 3. There we go. Which I will say, one of my favorite suits, GPO2. I don't have it yet, but it is in the game now, so I'm really hyped. I'm excited. I can't wait to get that thing. I've played it on
It's
at a
it's cool
friend's,
to have on your team.
and
It sucks when they're all just kind of going hand planning on each other in ace matches, but it's
yeah,
funny. It's funny. It's just these big bodied suits flailing around at each other. Every once in a while, you see a big fuck off streaming yellow just streak across your screen, like, well, one of them's on the way.
well, and
Let's
see
see which one it
that's the
is.
other thing too. Is just like
Yeah.
there's another FU to support types because it's just like,
Oh yeah, like
oh
man,
man,
a really potent counter sniper. Who would have fucking
Yeah.
thought?
yeah, like well,
Before I
like I
even reach you, I've already melted most of your bar. Like fuck.
yeah, like I joined a gaming queue with Emblem there, and during his stream there on Sunday, and it was just like someone who were we going against in chat, and it was just like they were like,
That was Varant and,
sorry to be
Fizz.
you, and I was like, what do you mean sorry to be me? They're like, you'll
Just
see.
see a streak around
And
the
I'm just like, oh man, 2 GPO2s, no.
Oh no.
This was a different match.
But and then I'm there just in my 500 cost gun cannon, like, yeah, here we go.
I'm ready to play the video game, guys.
Mom said it's my turn to play on the Xbox.
Yeah, it's always GPO2's turn.
Mom said it's my turn on the stamen.
But
Yeah, Draven brings up a good point that I was going to mention after talking about this. But I was actually going to say, at the end of the day, though, like I can see why they have premium mobile suits, because like from a free player's perspective, like the step up completely sucks. If they spent their tokens
Yeah.
on the super hype anniversary, and it's at the end. Granted, they did let people know it was coming. I was going to touch on that too. They didn't say it was going to be a paywall suit, but they did say that they had like a little bit of a different suit. I don't know. Saying different might assume that they were somewhat hinting that there was going to be a pay system involved. But they did say that they had a suit plan that was going to be completely new, and stuff like that. I did look at the exact messaging, and again, Google Translate could be weird. But
yeah,
they did give you a heads up that the end suit was going to be like kind of a big deal. At least it seemed like it would be. But like at the end of the day, free players to some degree, like granted, you need a player base, but free players don't pay the battle operation bills. So
yeah,
they have to have stuff that incentivizes people to pay money. Like Wells keep the servers on, and the free players give people to beat up / get bodied by the whales or whatever.
By the way.
But you definitely need both.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
that's
gotta
right.
keep
I
'em
pay
happy.
the bills.
Well, it's
Yeah.
like I always think back to watching a lot of Japanese players who do content, and sometimes they'll actually put compilations of how many regular temples that they'll do before they even get like the banner suit, even on regular updates. And you're talking 5+ sometimes. That's
Oh yeah.
some serious shit to drop. So
Mhm.
giving them a fucking bone, having them have the chance to get a really nice suit that they can do the showcase on, and that they'll be guaranteed to have it within a couple runs, like that's nice for people like that. And those are the ones that they're going to be catering to who have that money.
yeah,
But there's both ends. I think if they implement it right, and like they could honestly do almost a little bit of both. But I think more guarantees on suits are a good thing. It's just I hope it's not always locked behind a paywall, but I get why it's there. I'm not I'm not living in magical Gundam land where our servers are kept running by Minovsky particles or
Yeah.
whatever.
Mhm.
And I think it would have been a little more what happened? It would have been a little worse if it was the Stamen instead, because now you're talking about a suit that can be on both land and space, as opposed to the FB at least being space only.
yeah.
So it is a terror when you do have to face it on there, and there are a bunch because, well, they paid to get the fucking thing. But at least you have some reprieve from it. And this Damon's pretty amazing, and is just pretty much a solid part of the unrestricted meta now.
Mhm.
Which I will say, they have been giving out a lot of stuff. It's been pretty nice here recently. As when I first started there, I was just like, oof, feeling the part disadvantage because, well, my first suit that I got was a Gelgu cannon, so
Mm.
I was definitely feeling the pay to win there early on. Now that I've got parts and stuff, it doesn't feel as bad. But again, that's the grind of it. And as long as they get enough parts into the store, like we're getting there.
The interesting thing is that we haven't, at least to my knowledge, or what I've noticed coming from the RT shop into the DP shop, I don't know if there've been any big part bump ups as of late. So we're
They
kind of
just recently added the newer levels of
They
defense
added
parts.
level 4.
Yeah, the level 4 stuff. Oh, actually, that was
And
we can talk about that too.
Oh, the changes to them,
Yeah.
or like just new level
Yeah,
4
well,
parts?
both.
No,
I guess we could
both.
talk about.
Yeah, both.
Mm.
I guess we could start on how the part slots have been changed for some of the parts since the last update. So, what was it? They're now taking up less part slots. So
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff changed about it. It's a
like
lot.
I'm not entirely sure where to start with this. I guess we can start with the defense stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up. But yeah, everybody done with the GPO1 banner talk.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm good.
I just hope they take it into a positive direction and put it in the random drop afterwards. Just saying.
Mhm.
They will. They said
Like-
they will.
Yeah. I mean, maybe a little more recently than just. Yeah. Where is it here?
Yeah, maybe not.
So I know for the level 1, if we're gonna start on defense, level 1 defense pieces are just 2 single slot cost. The beam and the ballistic is 1 medium and 1 long, I believe, and
Yeah.
then the melee is 1 close and 1 medium.
Yeah, instead of 3 cross. You're right.
Which I'm loving that change because that gets us. I don't know about anybody else, but I've just been like, oh, I got just 2 little parts. Boom, I can just slap that on. Got 1 extra part slot open. I've been able to fit just about 1 level 1 defense in a lot of builds now with that change.
Oh yeah. I mean, like across the board, it's just really satisfying to look at some of your suits that you pre-configured and go back and be like, oh, you got some extra slots to fuck with now.
Oh yeah.
You know, it really does make you rethink what you prioritize, shift certain things around, especially if you want to get a little bit of extra attack, depending on what's been freed up. Because those are the more prominent parts for me is melee and range. Like I put those on first, depending on what I want to prioritize, and then work around that. So that's been pretty nice to see.
Yeah, it's definitely only been good. Because I mean, there are a lot of parts that, for me personally, had such like a minuscule impact that I mean, the parts like even the slots themselves aren't worth it. Like just using like something that most people would be like, oh well, it's already really good. The quick loader level 1.
Oh yeah.
I still can't be convinced that 5% by itself is worth running. Like those like maybe I just don't frame data enough or whatever, but those like shards of a second that you save, it's not even a full second. It's like because there's no rounding, like you save like a little bit of time, but like since it doesn't take what is it now? I think it's like two long instead of one mid, too long.
Yeah.
Like that's what the parts have changed. Like that honestly makes it a slightly bit more appealing to me. I can put all my stuff into getting on my actual good part, the new model frame, because I don't have to use a middle slot on my quick reloader level 1 anymore.
Yep.
So it's definitely pretty good for me.
Oh, that's like the quick loaders though. Is just now the level 2 and the level 3 is medium slots. I think both of them went down by 1, or the level 2 might still be 4, and but as far as their close range slots is now just 1 each. So that's pretty huge, especially for the level 3 quick loader.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
1 close and 6 medium. That's pretty huge.
Trying to find just I can't remember which update it was on. Is the big thing.
I'm on the page, so I've about got it.
Has it
Gotta
been a
find
couple
which one it
weeks?
is.
Yeah, if you got it, that's fine. But yeah,
Should have it here in a
the
second.
changes are really good. I mean, I think it's I think it's good that they did it because there were a lot of parts that just didn't quite cut it. I think because the level 2 parts are a little bit more manageable now too. Because didn't they change the defensive parts on those? Because it used to be like double, like three. I think each of them were like three slots
Now
for
it's
like
2 and
top
3.
and bottom or whatever.
For level 1 stats, for the level
Well,
1
for the level 2 ones, level 1 I think is
level 1 used to be
one across the board.
Used to be one across the board. Level 2 of anti-live and anti-beam defense parts were, I believe, 4 slots, medium and bottom, and then
Well, Magnum, you said you had the notice themselves, right? Because it should tell you the prior value and what it was changed to in that regard.
mhm. And the level 2 anti-melee should have been, I think,
Well, that one was 3 top, 3 mid.
3, yeah, and then
Here
level
it is.
3 anti-melee used to be 10 meters.
Yeah, anti-melee was
3.
3 top, 3 mid, and the other 2 were 3 mid, 3 bottom
Mhm.
before the change.
And then the mid went to 2 for the ballistic and the beam. The mid went to 2, and the oh yeah, actually mid went to 2 on all of them. Yeah, that's what it is. The close is still 3, and the long is still 3 on the beam and the anti-ballistic. And then
But
the
it's
level
up to
3s went down to
overall,
8. So yeah, like I actually found that
because it makes it better.
yeah, I'm fitting the level 3s actually on a couple of things now, just because I got that. Anything that just has a ton of like mid slots, boom, that melee level 3, I'll take it.
Well, and then especially for, what was it? It was like I remember doing this. I like completely threw level 3, 2, and 1 on my level 1 XAML, and I gave it like, what does it equal out to? Like it gave it a hell of a lot of anti melee, and I'm just like, yeah, I'll just run with that.
Did you notice a difference? Because the defensive modifiers get put in after damage modifiers are put through, so you should have seen some pretty big returns on it. Like, did you notice a notable decrease in damage?
I have. I actually tested with my level 1 XAML one time doing that, and I did see some differences. I actually had a friend help me out with that. So, yeah, I definitely saw differences with and without the parts.
So I don't know
Maybe
if I have any examples, but with those changes and being able to put a little bit of extra, upgrades or stuff on some of those suits, are there any that you've revisited, or that you're more
Tons.
willing to actually like play more since you have that extra little oomph on them?
I guess reconfiguring parts I had to do a lot, and I guess a lot of people did. But
I
in
still have
terms
to
of
catch up.
returning to certain suits, I guess not really. I never really thought about that.
Yeah, I can say that the change in the parts hasn't really made me want to change. Hasn't really made me revisit too many suits either. But I also haven't played it enough, so it might just be me being lazy. I have a lot of house cleaning to do for a lot of my suits.
Mm-hmm.
I would say there's a couple of suits that I've, just been like, oh, I think I'll just play that this game. Let's go for it. I got to play, I'll fit the raid role. And I look at it and be like, oh, I can fit this and that. Oh, and that got reduced. Let's switch this around. So yeah,
Hmm.
in that regard, it's been kind of like a sort of revisit, but it's been more of after the
Yeah,
picking the
it's
suit.
more like a pleasant surprise because it's incidental.
Yeah.
That's good.
Shield parts. They upped the actual life of the shield 200 for every level.
Oh. Wait,
Yeah.
so the new shield parts have been buffed? Is that what it's saying?
So yeah, level one was 200 health. Now it's 400 health.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
across the board,
That-
yeah.
Wow.
200 across the board.
Wow, actually, that may actually make a difference to a degree. I think now since they've buffed it, I can see people running the Gym Guard custom with all those parts on it. And
There's definitely a trade-off.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I was actually looking at the GM Cannon. Now I'm like,
Has a
extra
substantial
400.
shield on it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, normally I have at least I could fit a level 1 on it half the time, just putting the normal parts on it. So if I actually upgrade it, throw it in the hangar, then yeah, I get that extra 200 or 400 now.
Right.
So pretty good. We pointed out the quick loaders. Yeah, that's real nice. Oh, and yeah, the level 2 is still 4 medium, but the close range did go from 2 to 1. Yeah, it's just been huge. I've been fitting level 3 on so many things. Auxiliary
Yeah, it just
generator.
makes the parts more desirable.
Oh
They
yeah.
were, like, some of them were good, but didn't really benefit like not just going on. Because I feel like most of the time, and I think it depends on what suit you're playing and your like what meta you do. But I've heard like a lot of things where like support, for instance, you're pretty much just all damage and health. Maybe like quick loads if you can fit them. And again, it depends on what you're doing. But I feel like most people like fit themselves into a pretty general mold. But making some of the less like impactful parts a little bit easier to slip in gives them more reason to be used, because I'm sure they can tell like with the data what parts people are using, and they didn't say anything about it, but maybe they noticed that the parts they buffed weren't getting used by a lot of the players, so they made them a little bit more lucrative to give you more reason to use them, or make them actually usable instead of just stacking damage and stuff like that.
About the only other ones that the focusing ring that got a slight buff with the close range going down 1 on both levels.
Oh, I didn't notice that one.
Yeah, that one's
Or
been
sorry,
pretty nice.
long range going down on both. I bet.
Mhm.
And then the head special armor. There you go. Protect your head.
That no one uses.
Nobody. I was about to say like
If
nobody
it's gone,
uses.
it's gone.
Sorry, I shouldn't use absolutes. Only Juwagi players use.
The only I was about to say like the only people that would probably or only suits that would honestly need head armor would be something like the Juwagu. But even then people probably don't even run the head armor on that thing.
Nah.
But one of the biggest buffs though, back armor going up 10 or 5% level 1 and a full 15% for a level 2. That's pretty nice. For space matches,
Oh yeah.
your back
space
goes
matches,
out,
you're-
you
you're
are
back.
done.
Pretty much crippled. I mean, it's the new.
That
It's your
happened
legs.
once to
So.
me so far since they made the change. It does suck.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I have not been using like the only defense part that I've ever been using is anti-melee. Like that is the only defense part I've ever been using since because everybody just melees no matter what type you are.
It's the don't bully me so badly part. Not the no bully, because it's not that definitive, but if you can put it on, you might as well slap it on there.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing for this game, is that they definitely have been emphasizing melee a lot more because it's a little bit more fluid and less rigid than GBO1. just in
And
terms of the way people move and the animations.
Yeah.
I think a good example that I still run this as it is. When I got the Tetra, like that screenshot that I posted in the Discord, like that is what I still use. I busted the hell out of that anti-melee and put a whole bunch of shooting mod on it, and I still run it like that.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Like,
Still want that Tetra.
get in
Oh my
there.
gosh.
Me too.
Yeah,
Although I want
me
the assault
3.
more. The deal on assault is nice looking. It is a pretty suit. I would
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah, it'd be another one I would reuse.
It
I'm still trying to get
melts,
Gustav to
support.
give me his password so I can play a little bit with it on his account, but he keeps telling me no.
You
It's against the terms of service. I
It's
can't do
against
it.
the rules.
I need that for streaming. I'll get banned.
Oh, yeah, man.
The focus ring just has 2 levels, right? Pretty sure it's just 2.
Yes.
Yeah,
Does
it's
my
just 2.
editing at level
Two.
3?
I don't think it's getting to level 3. It may get it like in the next update or so, but there's only 2 right now.
Eventually, probably.
Actually, it now here's a question. Now, have you guys actually seen a difference with the charging rings at all?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
And-
I personally have not.
The big one for
It's,
me was the Alex. Because it already charges as fast as it is. And there have been some times where I wish you could do it just a little bit faster. Putting the level 1, you can, because I play that suit so much, a little bit significant enough for me to put it on there, but for other suits where the charge is longer, unless you really play that certain suit super hard, you're probably not going to notice a whole lot. It's one of those things that you do for peace of mind, so that if you do get in a situation where you just really want that charge and you do land that shot, you're like, well, I got it faster than I probably would have otherwise. There's definitely something that you think about after the fact, more so than anything else, because when you're in the moment, you're just like glaring at that reticle and just waiting.
Right.
Please. Please. Charge.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I hold the charging ring in the same vein as the reload parts personally, except for like real fringe cases. I generally don't. I don't value the parts either, honestly.
I actually do see the difference with the reload. The only suit that I can honestly see it really well is using the Sniper 2 with the bullpup. That is where I can see it a lot with the reload parts, because the bullpup already reloads as fast as it is, but throwing like 2 more quick reloaders on that thing, oh yeah, you're gonna be doing a lot more damage.
I don't know though, but
Oh.
like you're right. I mean, there's no universe where reducing the downtime between you shooting and whatever like will change your damage much. But like in your example, like the faster the reload time is, the less necessary the parts are. So I mean, I just like I feel like it's more of a reason not to use it just to go for damage. Because I mean, at the end of the day, like you have to do the math of like how much time does a few like a little bit extra of a less of a second compared to however much percent damage you can get from putting on a range modifier. I mean, and maybe you're doing like full range mod and you have extra slots, which I think is perfectly fine. But am I ever gonna like if I'm ever gonna opt out of like even level 1 range part to get the reload thing on, like for me personally, never.
Yeah.
Especially on guns that reload faster, because I just think the time difference is so negligible that it's not worth putting the parts on. I'd rather put on level 1 and maybe get 200 more HP than get like less like milliseconds or however much time of faster reload time. But I think that's a preference.
Which I playing, like, say for instance the Zaku cannon. I do a lot of cannon MMP80, cannon MMP80, and the thing is, and I just run the MMP80 out of ammo, and I definitely feel it because especially when I get up to like the 300 cost, where I've got it fully upgraded from the Hangar as well, so I can fit on the level 3 and stuff. I can fire, just completely unload the MMP80, and then by the time I fire the cannon and switch back, we're ready to go. Let's do it again.
How many reload
And
parts do you have on? Did you say?
I think quick loader 3 for sure. Maybe I don't know if it can fit on the quick loader 2, but I don't really use the level 1. I don't opt out of the at least a level 1 on there over it. I agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
But with the level 3, it pretty much feels great. And then same with the level 2 at the 350 cost with the mass production type gun cannon. I definitely can feel the difference there with that. If it doesn't have and I think that one has the level 3 and the level 2 on it. I'm pretty sure that's the one I've got it on both, and that feels nice. Otherwise, there is a time where I'm just like, okay, there's Vulcans maybe, and then when they run out, it's like, I'm waiting to reload my cannons or my
And I
twin
guess that's
100
another thing
millimeters.
too. Like on suits that have a little bit more of a limited repertoire of things they can use in the meantime, especially if you lean on a certain weapon that those parts dictate,
Yeah,
then those probably become more valuable to you then as well.
but
Oh, yeah.
again, you don't have to give up the range. So that's
Yeah.
my thing.
Yeah, and like I said, I think if the reload time like warrants actually, and again it depends on who's getting the miles out of the suit. But I think at the time warrants and you notice that there is a difference. Ultimately, it kind of just comes up to preference. But like to me, if you're not getting like I'll even like go so far as to say like if you can even get like half a second, I think it's definitely worth taking into consideration for any particular gun.
Yeah.
But if you aren't getting that much, I can't realistically see you wanting to put it on. But again, it just depends on the suit, and like obviously the longer the reload times are, the better the returns are, and it becomes a much more powerful option. But it's just in regard to like it makes I don't know, it makes my machine gun that reloads really quickly reload it like a tiny bit faster. I just can't see it.
Yeah.
Now, something that would be similar to the reloaders. What about the cooling units for the beam weaponry?
Yeah. Same thing there.
Would that be the same thing as well?
Are they the same
Yeah.
percentage rate?
I think they're the
Well,
same,
yeah, I
like
don't know how
3,
the charge
6,
speed
10,
works,
or
but
whatever.
if all guns recharge at the same speed, which I've never really timed, that's a good question. But for the overheat, because it does only work on overheat. Like I don't think there's any part that makes your unoverheated beam rifle charge faster. Just to make that clear.
Oh, the ready up threshold or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Nothing will make you go from yellow to white
Yeah,
or
we
whatever
don't got that yet.
faster or anything like that. I think that would be a really good part, depending on how like relevant it would be. But
Could you
it might
imagine that
fall
on
into
like the Gelgoog rifle or some crazy shit? Goddamn.
That'd be legit. As far as the focusing though, as far as beam weapons and stuff, with the focusing and like the gun cannon 2, like pretty much it's cannon. That the focusing works great with that.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're using the heavy Gundam, for instance, the focusing level 2 is great for that.
Oh yeah.
Because and that's one of those, again, it does take up long, which now they've helped that out, but it's on that one I would almost say it's worth it because it's fully charged for the heavy Gundam.
Mhm.
That's some good
How long
damage,
does it take?
and it
4
pierces.
seconds? This would be more.
Is it 4?
I don't know. I don't have a heavy Gundam, so
It's
I'm not
something
sure
like
the
that.
charge time.
It's
I wanna
long
say
enough. It's long enough that I
2,
feel it.
4 or 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, those
Did
long
they
charge
ever
times do
shorten the
suck.
time for the gun cannon too? Because sometimes it feels like it's not as long as some people are making it out to be.
I know they changed some stuff, but I don't know if they adjusted the time. I'd have to I'd have to like do some digging.
Actually, as a matter of fact, for
3
Gun
seconds.
Cannon 2, recently I actually recorded a match with the Gun Cannon 2 in a simple battle, and I've noticed that I guess recently or whatever, whenever they were messing with the Gun Cannon 2, but they had to have made the charging of that cannon faster. because I didn't put any focusing rings or any overheat parts on that thing when I took it out. Because I remember firing it off and I'm just like, oh, that was quick. Because like after I did a full charge shot with my beam rifle, like it was pretty much damn ready to go. Like within like maybe a couple of 1 or 2 seconds off there. But other than that, I could yeah, like I said, Canon 2 seems to be that the charge seems to be changed recently, or maybe not as recent as I think it.
But it has. You think it has changed, though? Yes.
I think it has changed.
I will put this out there, because like for some reason the only thing I can remember from the Gun Cannon 2 like adjustment notes is that they added the glowing orb effect to the cannon while you're charging, because they used to not do that. It used to not like show your position quite as well whenever you were charging. But you know what I'm talking about, like when like Unit 5, which one has NBL? I always mix the two up.
Unit
Well,
4.
Unit 4 is the blue.
Unit 4 is the one that has the Magnum.
Okay, whenever Blue Gundam is charging its giant death laser, do you know how like it has the I'm already ready for YouTube commenters to be triggers like Blue Gundam. Do you know anything about Gundam? But anyway,
Oh my gosh.
That subconscious.
but you see like the little like glowy orb. The Gun Cannon 2 didn't have that the Gun Cannon 2 didn't have it at first. And they added that, but I don't remember seeing them change the time. But I was just gonna say, like, do you think maybe it might be more of a thing where like we just have suits that have a larger charge time, so it doesn't seem as bad as it used to? Because I really can't remember if they adjusted.
Maybe that's it.
That's a possibility.
That could. I'm thinking since the level 1 and 2 G0 came out, I think people have been. I guess like in general, people have now been more forgiving with charged weapons on lower cost suits due to that.
Yeah, because I think when it came out, the Gun Cannon 2 had the longest charge time. But now we have we had like the prototype beam rifle now, the MBL and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So it almost doesn't seem as bad as it did.
It wouldn't be that bad of a change if they actually didn't change it. You know, because we're talking about it from a perspective aspect. Yeah.
I will say, as far as just playing it, if I can hit somebody in the legs and then follow that up with the boom, their legs are gone, dude. I don't think I've hit anybody that I haven't destroyed their legs if I want to combo them with that thing in the legs. Feels good, man. But as far as the other part, the overheat Galgoo cannon, where I feel that one a lot, and or the Unit 4. So, but you definitely can feel some if it's a suit you play, and especially the reason why I really noticed it though was for the reloaders it was the Zaku cannon and the mass production gun cannon, and then for the Galgoo specifically, that was the first box I ever got was the Galgoo cannon, and not the best suit to get as your first suit because it has a lot of parts, and now with parts it is a completely different beast than no parts.
And it's been a lot more prominent since it's been a little bit easier to get as of late, and that's been nice to see.
The buffs help too.
Yeah, for sure.
Just a beefy boy these days.
But
I think it kind of just comes down to this. I think it'd be a little bit easier. Like they're definitely taking a step in the right direction. I think making more stats visible would make like part builds a little bit more optimal. I think GBO2 has a lot of hidden stats that need to be put somewhere. I think they should put some hidden stats. Like if you hit L2 in the Hangar, it shows a second page with like prep ground space preference.
Yeah.
What rank you have to be. Like there's like actual like, and maybe they make it a little bit bigger, but there's a lot of open space there.
Yeah.
They should just
Oh,
put
yeah.
some. They should put, like, reload times or have it somewhere in the gun text or something. Like just a little bit more information that you don't see, like melee priority. Maybe I don't know. Like I would like to have a little bit less transparency in some of the game stats, so it's easier to like kind of figure it out. Granted, that might make the game more meta, but
It
I
really
think it'd be
would.
nice.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's the trade-off, and I think if they do start doing more stuff like the FB banner, those suits will get picked apart. Someone will take the hit, put out the info, and it probably in some cases would hurt their sales, just because people would be able to pick them apart meta-wise. But it would be
But I think
nice.
they kind of already do it. It just make it easier. Because I mean, if you
Yeah.
go to a Japanese wiki, a lot of the information is already there. So I mean, someone's data mining or however they figure it out to know it's
Okay,
there.
Mm-hmm. I
mean-
wouldn't be surprised if it was a worker that just wanted to make the wiki.
I mean, like rate of fire and stuff is one of my biggest things that I'm always questioning. Every time I see a new machine gun or something, I'm just like, what's its rate of fire?
Mm-hmm.
Because we got the power and we got the ammo, so either does it have a lot of ammo and you're just going toop, 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 or is it just mowing down things like the Gatling from the Pale Rider? Is it just like, I feel like it shoots faster than the Unit 5, which I haven't played the Unit 5 enough to, because it's on my
Right.
alt.
The Gatling is actually the same. It's the same Gatling for the new Pale Rider and the Unit 5.
Oh,
Hmm.
Do
okay.
they have the same capacity as well?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense because the Space Pirate has like stuff that's based, like lore wise, is based on units 4 and 5
Yep.
too, right? Yeah.
Yep.
There have
Even
been
the
some-
shield, the Gatling, the beam rifle. Technically, the Pale Rider, to a degree, can kind of act like a G-line because it's part of the RX series, and most of the RX series have been able to have interchangeable parts.
I mean, with the introduction of the assault,
Yeah.
I would say that the Pale Rider is just a blue G line if you really are like really prominent about that suit over the
Mhm.
other. And then apparently there's another configuration of the Pale Rider, which is the Dullahan, and some
Mhm.
people have been doing like mock-up images of that because we have the beam, not the beam, the heat javelin and all that stuff from the assault type.
Right. I wouldn't be surprised if the Dullahan's going to be a raid.
And the other thing to note, if they do bring it in, which it was in 01, right?
Yeah, most of the Pale Rider variants were in the first game.
Right. We're still working through a lot of those suits, so
Yeah.
I figured, but it wouldn't have the Hades system. That was one of the
More new
big lore
suits.
things about it.
More new suits. Less
Yeah.
GBO1, more GBO2. More new suits.
Mhm.
But
And new maps.
And new maps. Definitely, at the very least, at this point.
yeah, new maps.
There are some
Seriously,
more maps.
get
My
that
lord.
water map. Gotta get that water map.
Yeah, I was about to say we have all these suits, yet we don't
Give the
have
ad guys
water.
something to wiggle around.
They're waiting for like the 5-year anniversary of October Sky, or what's part 2? December Sky. What's part 2 of
December
Thunderbolt?
Sky.
Yeah.
December Sky. Yeah.
Once they want to skyrocket December Sky Blu-ray sales, they'll put water maps in GBO.
Right.
Oh my god. The December Sky, and then it was Bandit Flower or something.
Yep. December Sky, Bandit Flower, and then I think
Bandit
there's
Flower is the
some-
one that had the Thunderbolt that guys, which was hype.
Oh yeah.
and that was also with the
That whole sequence.
Oh,
holy
is
shit.
Bandit Sky the one with the Aqua Jam? Because that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. This
Yeah,
is
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
December is the first one, and
yeah,
Bandit
but
Sky
they're
is the
still in
second one?
space in
Okay.
the Thunderbolt sector. So.
Yeah. Okay. I was referring to the Bandit one then.
Mhm.
Wasn't December Sky the one with the Atlas Gundam?
No, that's also the second
That
one.
was part.
Because it fights the mobile armor that's in there
Oh
underwater,
yeah,
and
that's
then
right.
it sinks.
And then
So
it
when it's
sinks
first
in-
sortie, it goes through orbit, wrecks a bunch of things, gets fucked up by a mobile armor underwater, and almost.
Yeah. Can't wait to see the
But it had
Atlas
really
Gundam.
cool banana shoes.
Yep.
Yeah, that. Oh my god.
Could you imagine that in GBO2? That
Brought to you by
gigantic
Foot Locker.
hitbox?
Oh
Yeah.
Oh
gosh.
my
My
gosh.
God. It would be a Scooty voice suit, but it would just take up too much room.
Well, you know,
How
no,
would they
no one
even?
in Japan knows what a footlocker is, but the Atlas Gundam release gets you know, the
Must be
emblem
the
they release
shoes.
is the
Yeah.
Nike swoosh.
Yes.
Oh gosh. That'd be
The
hilarious.
whales aren't quite getting
Oh,
there. The
shit.
guaranteed banners weren't doing it. They gotta branch
Yep.
out and make some
Hear the
product
echoing
placement, guys.
cries of the whales in the background as they flail their money out of their blood. It's like, let's
7-Eleven
go.
Gundam won't just be a skin you can put on your RX-78. It'll be an actual mobile suit.
There you
You know
go.
they would and give it the sign as its melee.
No, they'll make they'll make the 7-Eleven Gundam a support type just because.
Just yeets the sign at people.
Oh
Yeah,
gosh.
it gets grenades that are just Slurpees or stuff like that. That'd be great.
Gets a straw instead of a beam saber.
We'll see those on the city map. Those will be the new ads that are up there.
7-Eleven. You know where like all the buildings where like they got the awnings and stuff like that. They'll turn those into 7-Elevens.
Oh gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there we go.
Where the cars are parked.
Just have different ads for different locations.
It's like this
So.
one parking lot in particular is really packed. Oh, the 7-Eleven's there.
There's a lot of cars here, and they'll let you actually go inside as a pilot.
Do they have a 7-Eleven? Is that where's?
That would be sweet.
That'd be
Could you
kinda
imagine
funny.
ranked matches? Like you realize everyone like
Party at the
mobile
7-Eleven,
suits
let's
would be-
fight.
Mobile suits would be parked there. It's like, what's going on here? Fighting
Oh
7-Eleven.
gosh.
Like
That'd be
They're having a bar
hilarious.
fight at a 7-Eleven.
Yeah, just shooting each other, and you just see all these explosions coming out from the windows. Like, what the fuck's going on over here?
And all of a sudden, the dev team's like, "The hell went on in that match?"
We made a horrible mistake.
no
Stakes
man, they'll all high five like they usually do when they add a new like buff to the act guy and be like, we did good, boys.
Yeah, right.
Xeon,
That
see
was
you
that
guys
was the
next
one,
week.
guys.
Oh
See you guys
gosh.
next week we'll release a new Broken Gundam and another subpar Xeon suit.
The salt doth floweth.
Seriously
Wouldn't be
though.
a proper. Wouldn't be a proper podcast without it.
Yeah. But do they have 7-Elevens in Japan or
Yes.
anything?
Oh, yeah, for
Is that a franchise?
Yes,
Okay,
but
yeah.
That's
Guess
why
where that
the
whole
7-Eleven.
7 Gundam is a thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's real.
okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, got it. Never mind. Whoops.
Once again,
Um,
other countries having better promotions than we do.
Yeah.
Seriously though, right? Come on.
I mean, there
Man.
was that one time that Arby's was doing some Twitter ads with like JoJo characters and Gundam, and I was
Yeah.
surprised by that.
That's an ongoing thing for that artist. That dude's making so much bank. Holy shit.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, dude.
All right.
Um,
Hold on.
Hmm.
One more to go.
yeah, I was gonna say Western release.
This is just gonna
That's a
be
good way
us
to wrap up.
speculating super hard, but like it's there, so might
Yeah.
as well address it.
Coming soon. All right, it's nice talking to you.
Okay,
guys.
there we go. Good job. There we go.
Thanks everybody for
It was-
coming
it
to
was-
the
it
podcast.
was good.
Appreciate it.
I can't wait until they release it. Coming soon. That'll be good. All right.
Coming
I'm
soon.
GamingEmblem.
Hopefully as soon. Hopefully it comes as soon as we just ended that. There we go.
Could you imagine me just looking like, what the fuck? We should have waited.
What are
Oh
they
my
naming
gosh.
them? Yeah, Downtime and Hangar is like the Nintendo Direct of battle operation. So this thing has to finish up so they can go ahead and release the game.
There we go.
Like, literally,
Release
Bamco guys like
matches.
just like watching. It's like,
Hovering the button
Come on.
like, hurry up,
Yeah,
man. It's
just
been
like
2
whatever,
hours.
Where's it at?
it's gone.
But seriously though, I guess one thing to mention is when it does release, we'll definitely be talking about it on here, and
Alright.
we can do like a tutorial though type podcast coming up for sure. Or at least there's gonna be some kind of topics like that.
Mhm. Oh,
but,
gosh,
I mean, any
probably,
big concerns about the Western release that you guys got?
Well, not necessarily a concern, but kind of like a speculation type of thing. The Western release is most definitely going to be because of how many.
Oops, you cut out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's gonna
sorry
be
about
what?
that. It's going. The Western release is most definitely going to be the most current update batch because the last banner update had a significant overhaul on the English text.
A very buggy overhaul.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was a
A
buggy
lot of
overhaul.
run-ons and fuck-ups, but they're trying, bless their hearts.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a lot better than it was.
Mm-hmm.
Although the funniest thing was,
Most cases.
nice to meet you.
Oh my
Nice
God,
to
that-
meet you.
That hurt my soul, guys.
Everyone's a lot
Wow.
nicer in game now. Yeah.
Well, except for the whole need support, and it's now support me.
Support me.
me.
Well, you know, some things are more direct, but
It
guys
needs a
are already like
Patreon
really
icon.
nice.
Just-
Like, don't you like it when you're doing a really good job in a game and your teammates like spamming it? It's like, great job, or you rock, or whatever it is.
and
Like,
you already
they're
know
really
it's
pretty
super
nice.
like sarcastic or facetious. It's like, you son of a bitch.
Especially like at the end when we like were defeated. Good work, good work, good work, good work.
Oh my
Oh
God.
my gosh. There's always the spammer.
The purest form of salt.
Yeah.
Gotta refine that while it's hot, man.
Break out your chips. Or zucchini chips in my case.
Ew.
But yeah, the I mean there's definitely a lot of speculation going on, and
Mhm.
I mean what I'm assuming, and if they do anything other than this it would be crazy, is we're probably just gonna have the only thing is how we're gonna get match made. I think is gonna be the big
I think it's going to be
Big
server
issue.
I think it's going to be a shared server. What I'm thinking is that they're going to be doing over a server, and it's going to be exchanging the same IP system as the Japanese servers.
well
That's what I'm thinking.
it's still peer to peer. So I
Right,
mean
yeah,
that's the
it
thing.
is
So it's
still
still going to be set up peer to peer, but the question is going to be how do they populate a lobby, and that's going to be the biggest issue in my opinion. That's going to come up.
I
It
think
could be similar to
that is-
GBS.
Mm,
GBS is peer to peer, right? Gundam versus for anybody.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. But
I don't have it.
That was for chat. That was for chat. You
Oh,
guys
okay.
are good. That was for the people at home.
Yeah,
people home.
answers. We need info. Go. Info army.
Go, my minions, go. But no.
But I mean, if like it doesn't really matter if it does or not. But I mean, I guess I think it would work the kind of way it does right now, right?
Yeah, I would assume so. The only thing is if they decide to put in like prioritize a local connection group so that your connection is so high, like out of the bars, let's use their bar system. Like you have to have 4 bars or higher to connect to the game is what it prioritizes, kind
I
of
guess
thing.
the bigger
Like if they start
thing
doing that
to-
kind of stuff, then might not fill a room.
right.
Was it boost up?
I guess to generalize, what level of effort do you think they're going to put in when it comes to actually porting this, or at least having the global release? Will it just be everything that we've already had? You know, using the same servers and all this other stuff, regardless of region? Are we going to still run into the same issues connectivity wise? Or are there going to be a couple like what's the term? Just quality of life things that'll actually come from this. That'll be, I mean, because the only thing that's going to change, besides maybe us losing our suits, is the fact that we can actually more easily throw money at them in the game. If that's not going to be the case.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the big things.
You
Now,
know, one of the bigger things, if they are not super like big about that announcement, is going to be us, you know, smacking that store button and seeing if it pops up with some shit. You know, if it is a separate client, then that'll be something else entirely.
I really hope they don't do any crazy. Which that's kind of more of the conspiracy. I don't know whether you say conspiracy, but the worry issue on Reddit that I've seen a lot is like, are we gonna anybody who's playing currently on their NA account are you just gonna lose all your suits?
Right.
Like that would be, I don't know. I feel like that would be, for me, that might be dead game for me because man, if I have now looking at the updates, I think I've been playing since January at this point. So if it has been that long, I don't want to put that much time into it again just to. Yeah, that'd be a little awkward. Just saying.
in all honesty, like first, I know for a fact that we're not going to be able to have carryover. Most likely, we won't. But I can't wait to dunk on the plebs.
Just
I'm
straight
gonna
up seal clubbing.
There we go. Let's move on to that though real quick. Like
Well,
the
no,
amount of
hold
new
on,
people.
hold on. I
Sealed
want to move
distress sealed
on.
noises all day.
Because like in that last thing,
Okay, yeah.
like poaching on like innocent baby seals is gonna be awesome. But I mean, as far as like the Switch goes, I think if it stays the way it is right now, we do start out like right where they are. Unless they make like a separate game client for Western players, I don't think anybody's gonna get reset. I don't know how hard it would be to just update the game. It can't be that hard to just make it to where like because your US client can already access the PlayStation Store,
right.
and
Right.
all that happens is just when your US PlayStation Store or whatever region looks for DLC for the game, it just doesn't find anything because it doesn't exist.
Ain't there? Yeah.
Right.
Right. So whenever they have a Western version of the game, if like they keep it the way it is, if it's like literally the same account and everything else, but they just
Just update
use the
that
exact
page.
same client, all they're gonna do is just add tokens to the PlayStation Store, and nothing's gonna change about your account. And when you go to look for those tokens, something's gonna be there because it actually exists on the PlayStation Store now.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think in most cases there won't be a reset. I just think it would be bad, and I think if there could be a reset, it would be because the alternative would happen, and they would like have JP region players play with C and whatever, or C would probably be on the global too because it's weird. But like I think if they do that, it wouldn't be so much that you're forced to start over. It's more of that you willingly decided to play on the Western server, so now you're choosing to make a new account because the Western server is separate from the JP server, and you can't play your Japanese Battle Operation Western PlayStation account on the US Battle Operation account because they're two separate entities and they can't like change over because they're technically two different games that have their own like I don't know main server that's a
They-
peer-to-peer like communicates
Right.
to or
Yeah.
whatever.
Short of there being any distinct advantages,
I think
moving over in terms of like quality, then you wouldn't even bother.
I think it's more of ID name. I think that's probably what's going to be the big thing. Because they would probably have to make a specific ID for the US PSN, though. So they can't necessarily make it the same as the Japanese version because I think then the servers would probably interfere somewhere.
Well, why would it be a problem? Japanese Fortnite players can play with US ones, right? I mean, I'm sure they have like different servers in that regard, but like, why would they need to have why would they need to have like a different game? If I'm understanding what you're saying, right? Or just like to use another free game. Like I'm pretty sure if you play Smite on PlayStation, you can play with JP Smite players as well as English ones, right? Assuming you're both like accessing the same server or whatever.
At least there though, you got a dedicated server. That's one of
Yeah,
the
it's a little bit different
things.
peer to peer.
Yeah, and that's probably the
but
thing that gives them that leeway.
I mean,
To just not
again,
mess with it that much.
I think what they're probably going to do though is they're going to just bring it over, and it's just going to be either we're kind of stuck where we're at already, or where it's going to be the U.S. Hub for the headquarters for Bandai Namco. They'll probably have some kind of server set up around that area, and that'll just as far as the code goes, that'll be how they matchmake people using that, and that's where it could get a little iffy. And I think what's going to happen if there is going to be a problem, I think it's going to be we'll have some issues with matchmaking. Everybody's going to be like, we can't find games, and then they're just going to probably either shift it to where it looks for a wider web of players to pull into a lobby, and then just some games you might have lag, some games you won't, or again, it could just be the same as it is right now, and we'll still be primarily connecting to just the Japanese connection as being the prime host.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that's the way I see it. But I really don't see them having a situation to where they're gonna make it a fully new game on the thing. And if it does, normally when they do that, there will be a under the PlayStation Store and stuff. When you find it and search up those things, it'll say like GBO2 NA or whatever, or Western or whatever they decide to put after it. And then when you actually download it to
I
your
agree.
system, it'll have a completely different name, and you'd be literally starting from scratch. And that would just divide the player base up if they did that, I think. Because, well, I mean, I wouldn't go play it probably, just because.
Yeah,
How many
I've
months
heard
now?
other similar sentiments in different chats and stuff too.
Yeah. So.
Which is a shame because then that plays up on the idea technically another Gundam game potentially flopping in the West because you had this split in people who are willing to play over people who are already going to be playing, since we are already doing it on the Japanese end.
Yep. Then
I
it's just
think-
dead on arrival.
I think it's more of we should be playing the US release so that we can show Japan that we want it.
Oh
And
yeah,
that's-
I mean,
that's the
people
other
should
thing.
100% support the game. That's
Yeah.
why I'm definitely gonna play both, if
Yeah.
it is separate, assuming it's separate.
Yeah.
I would definitely play both.
And even from a streamer's perspective, striking while the iron's hot,
Yeah, I guess.
trying to garner those
Touche.
communities. People having a lower bar of entry for actually like just downloading and yeeting themselves into it and picking them up on. If it is a separate client, then well, you can have more local people on your clans, people that you can actually talk to instead of just hoping that they don't throw moon runes at you the whole goddamn time.
Right.
I appreciate the guys that are in my clan, GS3,
We love you,
and that
community.
yep. And I appreciate the work that they've put in, but having some people that we can actually network with more and hang out in our chats and do stuff like that definitely would be a nice step forward.
Yeah, from the aspect, the Western release can only be good. Like, I can't say only, but it's mostly good. Like, I can't see it being bad.
Right.
Yeah,
At least on the surface, from us speculating right now, it can only be positive.
pretty much.
What kind of shit show it'll happen when we actually get there, we don't know because we don't actually know when this year is actually going to drop. But the clock is ticking.
Soon,
guys. Trademark.
Well, I'm gonna speculate though that it's probably going to be in October. Honestly, because at this point I don't think it's going to be dropping anytime like this month. Now I could easily be wrong though, and somebody's going to be in the chat going like, "Oh, Maniac's wrong. We prove you right now." It's like, yeah, I know.
Just posted cringe. You're going to lose subscriber.
I'm gonna lose all my followers. I'm not gonna be
unsub, unfollow.
right.
Don't worry, people threaten to unsub all the time. It's almost always empty. Besides, if they're already subbed, refunds don't exist. They can't take it away. It's and you're good.
Don't take away my Eat Fresh points this September. Don't do it.
I was
But
gonna say something. I'm trying to remember. Go ahead. I was just trying to think out loud.
oh, well, I was gonna say, well, while you're thinking on that, as far as the influx of new players, though, who is gonna make a new account?
Dude, I don't play my NA account, so I'm already ready.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you've got that NA account. I mean, I'm gonna have to make a new one because my main is my NA account. So
See, I worked on my North American account for a little bit when I dropped the camphor, but then once I dropped the camphor on my Japanese account, I just dropped my NA account.
See, that's been mine the entire time.
yeah, all I've played really is the NA. I mean, I've played the Japanese every now and then just because I'd be like, yeah, sure, I'll get some extra dailies done. But pretty much since the emblem or the medal, I keep saying emblem and medal. Anyway, the gold, silver, and bronze. Just every time those get popped, I mean, it's just decent numbers just about every game toward the end of the month, and it's I've just been racking up the XP and DP with that. So I just pretty much am like, okay, cool, I'm ranked up. I've got all the stuff that I really need, and I'm starting to get enough suit overlap between both accounts that it's like, okay, I can just play on my main now, and I have pretty much everything I need.
Oh, speaking of, now I'm probably going to backtrack here for a little bit. So, for the ranked matches, and I know we're off that topic, but this is going to lead into the North American release here. If the ranked matches go extremely well, will there be a high possibility of the North American version having ranked matches by default?
I feel like that's more, and this might just be me looking at other games that are competitive like that, but I feel like we're just used to having ranked. I guess that would be what the game considers rated, but different seasons for
Yeah.
rank too, like that's
Right.
just a thing that we have by default on a lot of competitive games. I'm surprised that there was so much backlash on this despite the format, and that it took them this long to be like, you know what, we're willing to give it another try. And I'm happy that they're trying,
Right.
but I would almost say do them back to back. Or if you're gonna give people reprieve, only do it for a couple weeks so that people have something to look forward to
Yeah.
on the next. Because that's what brings people back stateside when it comes to games like that. You know, the new season coming up and people that are really competitive in those scenes, just wanting to make those numbers happen.
Oh yeah. Sure. But
Seasons would be pretty good. Like I think the main problem with that is just ranked match is just a poorly named competitive community event. Like they should like switch the two around. Like rated should be ranked to
Yeah.
prevent more confusion, and like
Mhm.
ranked can be called, I don't know, point gathering, point like rating, rank point gather, rated point decrease, because you're gonna lose all your rated points by losing these matches. Fun time events thing or something. But like I just like people, if they do it, I think they need to change it up, because people see the ranked match like, oh, I can play ranked, and
Right.
Yeah.
you'll
And that's
still be
gonna
getting
be
the
a
gains.
well, that was my thought. I
But
was like,
maybe should
oh,
change it up.
there's this ranked thing that's to be determined. So is this going to be like a thing where they're going to have some big tournament at the end or whatever when it happens? You know, is this going to be like a
and
thing
then
they're
it never
doing?
came.
And then I'm just like, cool. Oh, well, here's this thing coming out, you know, and then finally not looking at it, it's like, oh, well, they've already done one, and it's not what you think.
No.
Right.
So I was like, oh, okay. Oops.
Unfortunate.
And
But
a kind of
Over
an interesting point that's brought up in chat. Sorry, Gustav. Was just that you know, not like. Do you guys know of any Japanese games that are competitive in that nature? Like, Korea, for instance, has stuff like StarCraft and
Mhm.
whatnot. But like, the only like real competitive style Japanese games I can think of on the top of my head are like, fighting games, stuff you
Yeah.
see like
Yeah.
at Evo or Arcade Cabinet. So it might just be that maybe they just don't have the experience making a large group multiplayer game. So that's kind of why the ranked is awkward in Battle Operation, just
Mhm.
because they don't have any experience or something like that.
Which is funny because they had that experience from all those fighting games. But just because that
Mhm.
format's different and because it's with an IP that is more team based, maybe they thought it could be a little bit similar, and they realized, oh, we're gonna have to do some adjustments. This
Because if
can't
you
be
think
like
about
one
it,
to one.
that might be why. Did you guys ever play Battle Operation Next?
I played a little bit of it.
Battle Up Next, and Maniac can chime in on it too if he needs to. But Battle Up Next was pretty much like Janky Gundam Versus with more players in a match. From what I saw with it, so like maybe that was their like maybe Battle Operation Next was their take on using a successful franchise that they had in a smaller like one. I think most matches in GVS are 2v2, pretty much from anything I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I think you can do 1v1s. I don't know if they exist, but maybe it was their
3v3s do, but like 2v2s are pretty much the standard.
Battle
yeah.
Op-
I think that is the case.
Battle Op Next was a very interesting monster, I guess I could say. It took the formula of Battle Op 1 and it took the formula of the Gundam versus games and they just kind of combined them together. So you had the fighting mechanics of versus, but you had the game rules as battle op, if that made sense.
Which is fair, and like from the gameplay that I've seen, that lines up.
So, when I first played it, I'm like, the one thing that I probably should have not done is that I played Battle Op 2 first and then went back to Battle Op next. And I just could not get into Battle Op next. As hard as I tried, I just could not, because it felt too much like Versus. And I'm just like, this isn't a Battle Op game. This is a Versus game. That's how I kind of felt about it.
I love both, so I kind of wish I was around for when that was actually more hot. Just
I remember when it first came out. It was like hard to play. Like matches were just really. It's like how GBO1 had buggy issues. Like Next was kind of in the same vein. It was just really hard to play a match. It seemed better when maybe because less people were on because the game time. But it seemed better when they ran the event, trying to get Next players to switch over to GBO2.
Right.
It was a lot easier to play. But yeah, but ultimately, come back to it. Just maybe they were trying something in that regard with a bigger group, using what they knew, and that's why they made Battle Operation Next. But it maybe once the Western thing comes out, I would hope that Bandai is working with their North American teams to kind of do something. But
to
maybe
understand
they
the
will have
different
some
sensibilities.
changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I find Gundam Versus very successful over here in terms of Gundam games.
Has Gundam Versus ever been in an Evo? I don't like. I
think as a casual, I don't think it's ever been a main.
But I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, has it ever had on stage?
Not to mention, it lost support pretty fast.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't. I don't think I can agree with that statement, man.
Yeah,
But,
that's a little rough, dude.
But well,
I meant
more of like the initial response.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Because people were like, "Oh my gosh, the Gundam is back in the States, and we got a new Gundam game. Let's play the Gundam game, or whatever, you know." Even though it's something.
It was no Dynasty Warriors Gundam. Let's
right. It was no Dynasty Warriors Gundam, and that was another
perfect multiplayer.
That was another funny thing. That
it was fun, but it was an eyebrow raiser. Dynasty plastered on it.
I don't know if that's for the others, but you were cutting out for me.
Yeah, you cut out for me there.
I remember, and then like almost every time when I'm like playing a Gundam game and stuff like that, and I think it happened a couple of times when I streamed, when I was playing Battle Op 2. There's a few guys that were like, "Oh yeah, so like, have you played any of the Dynasty Warriors Gundam games?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I swear it's like almost every time that is like the thing that people bring up. And I'm like, "Yeah, I played all of them."
Chad is telling me that GVS was played at Evo for 2017 and 18. That's not bad.
Oh.
But it makes sense. Like, I almost wonder if that's like because there's enough people playing it, or if it's just because Namco Namdai is like an actual sponsor at the event, and they're just trying to push their own game.
That's possible.
I don't know.
I mean, they got Soul Calibur and a couple other things on there.
I mean,
what like DBZ?
Right. I was about to say they own in terms of game like IP names for games. They have Dragon Ball. They have quite a few. They have quite a few big things over
Cal.
Yeah.
They double in a lot. GVS.
Mm-hmm.
Arc System Works is up there too, but that's has nothing to do with the conversation.
That's just sheer volume.
Oh
my god.
I will say though, as far as just hearing people play a lot of Dynasty Warriors Gundam and stuff, that was pretty much where I didn't really have a PS2 myself. That was
Mhm.
pretty much my like saving grace when it came to getting a Gundam game. Finally, it was like, yeah, I got something for the Xbox. Woo!
Yeah, that was
But
nice.
Oh, speaking of like Xbox games and Gundam, oh boy, if it was not for uh Toei not Toei whoever owns the
Koei
Dynasty.
Tecmo.
Yeah, so if it wasn't for them, we probably wouldn't have never had any Gundam games to begin with on the Xbox. Like, I'm being dead serious because they own the Dynasty Warriors franchise.
yeah,
So if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't have any. You wouldn't have Dynasty Warriors Gundam on Xbox, like at all. It would all be on the PS2 and PS3. So that was another thing. People were like, "Oh, but we want Gundam on the Xbox." But the only reason why you got Dynasty Warriors Gundam on the Xbox was because of Toei, or not Toei, the
Koei
creators.
Tecmo, yeah.
Yeah,
there
for
was.
Okay, there probably was like another Gundam game that I'm not remembering that was on the Xbox, but it was probably nowhere close to being successful as the PS2 variants.
Operation Troy. That's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say.
I was gonna
Operation
say.
Troy.
But it
Not-
was only Japanese,
I
so
say not something we got. So
not
technically,
something we
like,
got though. So
it's in
that
another
was.
dimension.
Oh my gosh, that was a sad day when it didn't come over here. But that was my first time I ever heard about any kind of operation type game. And then yeah,
Mhm.
then a friend of mine was like, "Dude, remember Troy? Here's this. Only it's got a English translation. Download it on your PlayStation now." I was like, so yeah, I was excited when that happened.
Pog.
Yeah, exactly. Um,
Oh,
Also, apparently Mobile Ops, the 1 Year
yeah.
War, was on the
Yeah.
360 as well.
really?
Sorry, the only game I wanted on the 360 was like Eternal Sonata and Tales of Vesperia. So,
Hey,
that Tales of Vesperia is why I got a 360. What's a Gundam game? I got the Dynasty Warrior Gundam games later.
I was a big Halo guy. That's
Speaking
why
of-
I was on Xbox.
Speaking of Tales of games, I got my Tales of T-shirt on.
Oh.
Barbados is the main antagonist from Tales of Destiny 2. Not the US version, but the real Tales of Destiny 2 that was only out in Japan. But I digress.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers most everything we've planned.
Yeah.
So
It sure does.
I will say this real quick, something that I meant to bring up earlier. It would be cool if they put a like if you DC'd from a game, being able to reconnect would be very nice. But that's something somebody put in my chat. So I'd bring that
would
up.
be
For the
good.
whole reconnect thing, I think that's going to be like they would have to implement a huge game update for it just to have
Oh,
that
yeah.
in.
And the other thing with that though is matches are pretty short, and by the
Mhm.
time somebody reloads back in, it could be
the match
like
would have been done.
the
by
match
the
could already be over, and so it's kind of
Yeah.
like, do they still implement the mitigation of point loss or what?
Let me
See,
ask you this too: is that something that can exist in a peer-to-peer game? Like, I don't know very much about like how that stuff works, because I can think of games that have individual servers where you can do stuff like that, but is that even possible on a peer-to-peer?
Peer-to-peer, no.
Oh, yeah,
It
that's right.
technically would not work. It technically would not work peer-to-peer.
Yeah, they'd have to get dedicated
So
servers for that.
yeah, they would have to, and to do dedicated servers, they would have to not redo the whole game, but they would have to do a lot of back-end reconfigurations. So yeah,
Yeah, that's probably asking
that-
too much.
that's
If
that's
only
like
it were so, but nah, it ain't gonna happen.
that's like asking, hey, can you put this square block into a triangle hole? I mean, like it's not gonna work out well.
Well, Bamco told me if the whales pay enough money for this premium mobile suit they're releasing in a couple of weeks, then they might consider it. It's like, buy tokens, we'll think
Could
about
you
it.
imagine that level of transparency? Like they're just like goals that you see on like a Patreon page or something like that.
Oh,
Did it work
gosh.
for EA?
Ouch.
Battlefront was an amazing game, I think.
Oh boy.
Oof.
Oh boy, now you're walking on glass there, bud.
Okay. So yeah. But yeah, I think that's it.
Yep,
So
that wraps us
Yeah.
up.
cool.
Do we want to take any like questions from chat? I know
I
a couple of things. I know Gustav's probably like jonesing to hop into his bed or something. But
Considering I
if
gotta
you
get
have-
up at like 3 in the morning, yes.
oh.
Yeah.
Well. So
Well,
what
like
do we want to do?
Gustav, if you wanted to just duck out and like if anybody wanted to, maybe field a
I'm
few
in
questions
this
from
for the
chat, I
long
wouldn't.
haul. Fuck
Okay,
it.
so I wouldn't hold it
Okay.
against you. I mean, you have to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
up. But I mean, I'd be down to like maybe address a few things from chat as well and kind of see what they if they had anything like any hot takes or anything that they would want to ask about because I had a few come up during the podcast as well.
Yeah, sounds good.
If anything comes up, I know. Let's see. And then chat was silent for the rest of the podcast.
It's like when you do those meetings at work and you're just like, oh, any questions? You just get that weird like standoff.
No,
Well,
you guys did 10 out of 10. You guys did great. I really like the part where you talked about the Western release and you said coming soon, and then the podcast ended. It was.
make that a highlight. Someone needs to make that a highlight.
10 out of 10.
Coming
Would watch again.
soon.
Yeah, just when you edit the YouTube video, just go ahead and whenever we start, it's like coming soon. Just go ahead and screen fade to black. Just coming
Yeah.
soon.
Roll credits. That's it.
We need someone to do a highlight, like a clip video of this.
Fine.
Podcast highlights.
There you
Let me go down to the bottom, see if anything popped up.
go. Uh-oh.
Where's my wing?
Where's my wing?
Where's my wing?
Mostly Gundam Wing will be in Battle Operation 5.
Oh my god. I mean, to be fair, though,
here's your
once they
wing.
started,
Here's my wing.
is that
Oh
point.
my gosh, what did you do?
But
Yeah.
Is that
I
a
know when
model or
they
is that the
first
actual
announced-
action?
Is it?
Well, I've
Gustav?
got the action figure in there, but this is the Gunpla.
Oh, okay.
So-
okay.
Not my wing.
Not my wing.
Where's
Oof.
my heavy arms? That's
Hang on. I'll be right back.
Oh my
let me go
gosh,
get all those. Hang
speaking
on.
Oh, here we go.
Well,
During the
speaking
podcast,
of,
they're here.
speaking of, I was looking at the comment section of that YouTube preview that they released on there, and everybody was like, "Well, there's Gundam Wing in there. I can't wait to
Yeah,
use my Wing
where's
Zero.
the Barbados in there?
No, I can't wait
Oh,
to use
gosh.
my strike." I'm like,
Yeah, bro, guys, come on. We can't patronize the Western fans, okay? We need them to play the game too.
I know.
Oh my
But
gosh.
I
You guys
just
are
find
fine.
it funny.
You guys are fine. You're just gonna learn what better fun
I mean-
level suits are.
You know-
The thing for me is that every time that came up in chat, I was like, y'all should have just stand fucking Gundam versus harder.
Yeah.
Had your
Yeah,
shot.
yeah.
Fucked it up.
Should have played more GBO next or something, man. That was your game.
Can I play as Master Asian?
Yeah,
Play
just
as
Master Ranger, not the
Ranger.
Gundam.
Just him.
Master Ranger be my
Just him
pilot.
ground Gundams. Like,
Oh my god.
There you go, man.
Dude, like I want to see like Masturation just like flip everything.
Dude, I would roll on a banner where if you get Master Ranger's costume, it unlocks a special pilot weapon where you just like scarf things and it like insta kills
Just tether
models.
the
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, new
Yes.
meta, man. That'd be awesome.
There's-
Everybody will just spawn
Oh
as
my gosh.
pilots at that
just the
point.
deadliest counter in the game.
Oh yeah, man. Literally, like the East would be burning red in every single match. It'd be amazing.
All of a sudden, you just see this white cloth just go across.
What?
What was that? And all of a sudden, you hear an explosion in the distance.
Well, there you have it.
This Master Asia quotes playing the entire time. Winds of the King, School of the Undefeated of the East. Domon! It'd be great, man.
Oh, dude, that'd be legit. Just constant. Oh man,
Domon!
that'd be a cool little DLC they could do. Like, just have different, like,
Just
Um,
suits or
well,
skins or
well, no,
whatever.
I mean voice, the different voices
Oh.
for
Oh,
the
yeah.
instead of just having
Oh,
what's her name?
operators.
Yeah,
Oh,
for
yeah.
operators, yeah.
Mhm.
Have like Char going in, going like, "Yeah, you screwed up."
I came to laughing.
GBS already does. I think it'd be a good addition.
Yeah.
That'd be neat. That being said, and it's probably not going to change, but it would be interesting if they actually included English lines for all that stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, sadly, I don't think that's gonna
Yeah, I doubt that too.
Probably not.
because here's the
I
thing.
wouldn't change tone, but that's just me.
Here's the thing. It's like for half of the stuff that they actually say in Japanese, I don't think it would translate very well because a lot of it seems to be slang.
Yeah, and I mean that goes for some of the unique dialogue per day too. Like how's
Localizing's
some of
come a
that?
long way too. I think it'd be fine. Unity commands. So if we want to have this as a close, this is kind of a pseudo question that came up. What OP 350 suit do you think is going to come out tomorrow to get us ready for rank?
Seriously
All right,
though,
cool. Well, we're gonna have like a better Efreet. That's what's gonna happen. We're gonna have the Efreet Schneid, not the Doug Schneid, the Schneid with the knives. That's what's gonna happen. And it's going to
What do you
be
think?
I can see a new fruit.
yeah, I can see an Efreet. But here's the thing. I think we have all. So that's the issue. So except for the Efreet Schneid, if the Efreet Schneid does get put in, then yeah, I can.
Okay, Friedschneid.
Yep.
Gustav, what do you think?
I don't know because we've been at least hitting 450 if not higher.
Mhm.
Is it already pretty much implied that it's going to be a 350 at least from what they've mined or
You would
I
think
have
that they
no
would
idea.
push a 350 to incentivize people to get a nice
right?
suit to help
Right.
them out ranked.
350 is pretty comfy right now with the amount of diversity that it does have in some of
Mhm.
those suits. That being said, I would like some lower cost stuff, or at least that it starts on a lower range and maybe goes up higher, just to diversify some of those old, like smaller matches.
Mhm.
We have a lot of high end stuff. The bigger question right now is what they're going to continue to fill out 550 with. And from there, how common are higher cost matches that actually cap at 500 or 550 since we're going to keep going into like 700
Yeah.
even beyond that.
Yeah. The list goes all the way to 700, which that's like I think that's even past Zeta at that point. That's like way past Zeta in terms of like
Like
technology
just
standards.
the O.
What 700?
Yeah, it caps out at
Mhm.
700 cost.
I don't
right
know.
now.
Like I don't think so. I could easily see Zeta Gun being like a 600 or 650, but I mean I think I like is Double Zeta gonna be a 700? I don't think so. I
No.
think it
It might.
like just at cost. Like I think the game need to go even further. Like it when and if we hit Zeta, but
Yeah.
the ceiling can be raised probably
Right.
easily.
I mean, the ceiling used to be 500, and then they boosted it to 700. So
Okay, yeah.
like
So
when
they could just.
so
But I don't know. As far as I would expect a 350 either tomorrow or next week during it for sure because just because it's a 350 event. So
Mhm.
What suit do you think?
I mean I would like to see a support,
Well,
but
well, do you know what? Crossbone brought up something. He's like Easy 8 weapons rack.
Mm,
I mean, I could see it as a 350 because the Easy 8 starts out as a 350.
Yeah, I think the cost
So
would be about the same. Give it a
I
dodge roll.
can. Oh my god. Well, I don't even know how that thing would even dodge roll with that
oh
thing.
man.
That's okay.
With its
Just
backpack.
increase your buy-in. Increase your buy-in, buddy. It doesn't matter. It's
they would just do it for
video game.
GVS where it just hauls ass really hard with its thrusters.
Oh yeah. But
But I mean, I think you guys are missing a good point. I feel like it's not even a question, but definitely the new suit will be a support. I agree with Magnum. 100% the Zoc.
Man, if they throw the Zoc in, holy
Yeah, definitely the
shit,
Zoc,
that's gonna
for
be
sure.
that's gonna be a game changer.
I'd lose my
Yeah,
fucking
meta
mind.
breaking.
That would be legit.
The Zoc's gonna come out, and the GOG is gonna be Phantom Suit.
God, it's gonna be a
That'll-
fan
Let's
suit.
go.
Wow.
If they were ever, you know what? Stupid shit aside, if they were to ever do that for either of them, they need to double down, and that would be perfect.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Oh my gosh.
But see, if you think about it like that, like, you know, because Gustav never gave us an answer. If he like politically evaded, like, you know, actually,
Because
named
I don't
Mobile
know,
Suit-
like, range-wise, what else we would include, right? Like, if we're talking about different IPs and stuff,
Mhm.
we've hit stuff that even I didn't know was the thing, and still I started like trolling through wikis and finding all these different variations and shit.
Oh yeah.
So
That's
if we're
what I
talking
wanted
about
to see.
stuff that's in GBO1 at that range that they haven't hit yet, or potentially new suits, like what haven't we hit to the point where are we going to be doing like advanced Zeta stuff? Are we just going to be doing more MSV shit? You know, or are we slowly but surely going to start creeping up further?
Well, and then at that cost range, you're pretty much in the middle, so it's almost anything goes.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could almost throw quite literally anything there and almost justify it, and then be like, we've also got a level 3 if it's
Yeah, like
kind of toward
eventually
a
you're just
higher
going to
end thing,
bump it up.
you know.
And
And
it'll
it's
be like a
like,
recycle banner that has those new levels or whatever, like they've done
or
for others.
or yeah, if it has 2 levels, then it starts at as 300. But oh yeah, also by the way, that's the other thing.
Mm.
So it could start at 350, or it could be a 300 level 1 and just have a level 2 variant. So that's so much that you could put in around that range.
Oh gosh, now I'm thinking about like those major updates. Like the game could easily become like a 200 gig game at that point.
Oh dear.
Like no, like honestly, because we're already at like the what was how big was the last update? Was it like almost 3 gigs or something like that?
It's pretty hefty.
Yeah, it was a pretty hefty update. So I wouldn't be surprised if if we get, as far as Zeta, I wouldn't be surprised if the game is like about like almost 10 gigs.
Yeah.
That's
in
just when they
terms
pull
of
the beta
size.
card and, you know, go to full release, and the gold copy is shipped.
Oh,
5
no.
battle operation. Battle Op 2 was just beta for Battle Op 3.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna
Oh man.
PS4
It's
is
a
out.
full-on like
Or sorry,
physical
PS5
copy
is
for
out.
it and everything.
Yeah.
PS5
is
is
out.
out.
It's
Oh,
got a
man,
shot of the RX-78. Just
That
like,
is
yeah.
true though, because this is a weird timeline for that.
Live
'cause
service game, man.
technically, it is
Yeah, there you
near
go.
the end of life.
Well,
Since we're
now
talking about PS5 already.
now let's think about this though. Battle Op 1 was on the PS3's last legs as well.
Hmm.
Because it started in 2012? Battle Op 1 started in 2012 and didn't end until
That sounds about
2015?
right.
2015 or something like that. And then 2018 this game dropped.
Hmm.
So I mean,
Not
They ported,
unprecedented, but it is strange.
They
to
did
think
ported
port
about it
Battle
that
Op
way.
1
Yeah.
to PS4, so the same thing could happen on 5.
you mean Battle Op
Ah,
Next?
Oh.
Battle Op Next was ported. That was the only one.
Was
that
it just Battle Op Next? I thought it was
Yes.
1 too.
No.
Yeah,
No.
because a
Battle
bunch
Op
of people.
1 dropped.
Yeah, they all
Battle
hopped
Op-
on next. That's why they
Yep.
did that event for it to
Yep.
just transfer them over.
Because
Yep.
I wouldn't see them getting to 700 calls. We mentioned 700 calls, but I wouldn't see them getting to 700 calls probably by the PS5 or something like that. Or I mean,
I
we'd
don't know,
just be getting there.
I think if we keep track, does the PS5 have a release date yet?
No, it's still in
No.
speculation right now.
I think we're making good pace. I mean, we're only 150 points away from 700.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
It's not too far away.
Maybe it just feels that
Here
far
I
away.
come.
Considering I thought I've been playing since like May, and it's like, no, I've been playing since like January, man. Oops.
Mhm.
Time flies, I guess. But
Yeah, because I mean, they broke the threshold on 500 of that sick, awesome,
Okay.
banner
Yeah.
with the Grandpa Gundam and
Mhm.
level 4 Grandpa Gundam. or
and the
3
early
Yeah.
production
Yeah.
Gelgoog.
level-
And now there's a 550 grandpa, and there's gonna be a sick
Animal
hundo.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, and then
RX-78.
I can definitely see a 500 cost prototype Gundam soon. I can definitely see it. in because that would be the level 4 variant, I guess you could say, of the even though it started at 350. Having a level 4 prototype Gundam would be nice.
I
don't
do
know
not
if
want
anyone
to see
has
it.
the counts for it in terms of
Oh.
like how many 550 and 500 suits we have so far.
Mm-hmm.
Would people
You know,
play the pro? I mean, there would be people who play, but would
Oh,
people
I would definitely
would people play the proto
Gundam.
over like BD2 at that cost though?
Oh hell yeah, I would.
Well, yeah, I mean you, but like, I mean, like I said, obviously people are gonna play it, but I don't know. BD2 just feels better than the prototype in a lot of ways, at its cost.
The question I always use, by the way,
They'll probably still release new ones.
the question I always use when I'm like, would you play? I always preface it with like, would you play if there was $1 million on the line and you were playing against another person? Would you play it over?
I'd pick up my BD2 for sure.
Yeah. So that in that case, yeah, it's one of those things. But I would not like to see it. But I also don't like to see the BD2 because that normally means quick death, especially if I get knocked over.
It is.
How about this? Without the Pixie, you never actually see it coming, so it's not as bad, right?
You hear it though.
Hearing, what is
OP,
that?
OP, man. I got
Between,
5
like,
speakers in
talking to
these.
chat and song request, like
I was
don't
gonna
see
say,
what's
like, I don't
hearing,
hear
like,
that.
Okay.
Mobile Suit Thrust
Oh, man.
as an audible noise
Someone had
in
to
this
do
video game.
I'm
What's
gonna
that?
get.
What's that?
I'm gonna get so nerfed. I'm trying to add like a thing so people can request songs. Oof. I'm gonna get my hearing is getting nerfed. Feels bad, man.
Guys, we're in City Map. I gotta pause the song request. Everybody, shut up. Footsteps.
It's a pixie.
Oh my god.
There he is. I turn around. Nothing's there. He's in front of me. Wait.
No, my emotion.
Nani? What?
Well,
Oh,
all of a sudden
man.
you have the to be continued song.
Yeah, he starts thrusting backwards.
No. Just have
that one that I did got like
nothing there.
oh man.
Yeah, just the whatever the noise, the new type noise or whatever. It's just like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
wait, nothing's there. What? I just had the noise.
In Emblem's chat, I'll be very upset.
I think he turned him off for this.
Oh, did he?
They're off right now.
Oh well, if someone didn't type it though, then.
Well, have you ever heard the noise go off and just kind of like peter off sadly? It's like, yeah. That's
Oof. But anyway, yeah, I think we can go ahead and do some outros here and stuff and shout outs rather, whatever. So who wants to go first? We can start with Emblem again?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Yeah, there on. yeah, I'm pointing at a direction.
He's pointing at my direction on our Discord call, but like,
yeah,
I was pointing.
Like, G-Stal's
okay.
like right there from over
yeah, but he's actually over here.
Maniac's over there, like on the
Gustav's there.
He's actually
You're
like
down
Magnum's there.
Anyway.
Yeah, but again, I'm GamingEmblem. I stream most nights on www.twitch.tv/GamingEmblem, and you can catch us live there. We got the low octane gameplay that everybody didn't realize they actually wanted. Sleep aids are great, so hopefully you got time to stop by and check out these guys too. They're pretty awesome. They'll stream their respective rights. That's about it. That's like all the shilling money. Any more, and I'll start talking about September.
Which, by the way,
if you harness the awesome power of Twitch Prime,
I think it's the new Subway emote.
Oh yeah, the new Subway emote. What the heck?
I start flashing my emotes on the screen, just like 52 easy 8 subliminal. But I digress.
Buy them.
Bye.
Okay.
Consume.
Or.
See, now I gotta look. Who are you pointing to?
You.
Me?
I was like you on the thing, but then I was like.
All right, so for me, it's Gustav GUSTAVE_XIII, because I know some people will probably try to put ones and some shit. But it's Gustav the 13th. Twitter I really should change, but it's at CJLLADT. It's a horrible 90s pun on some old commercial. But that's me on Twitter. And Facebook, just look up Gustav the 13th. I'm trying to keep myself on different social media platforms, and I try to keep them updated for when I actually stream or when I'm just sharing game-related stuff and all that. And I do stream Gundam Battle Operations 2 dailies every day. And I'm doing Octopath Traveler in the meantime on as double headers, essentially. And that's pretty much my schedule so far, and hopefully I can expand a little bit more after I'm done with Octo. We'll see.
I guess it's my turn.
Or
I guess I have no idea.
yeah.
Well, how should I start this or end this? Oh, okay. First off, I'm horrible at like coming up with promotions, and two,
That's why I don't do it. It's all good.
If you want to follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/GundmManiac. I try to stream every day. I've been kind of getting good at it, not really.
You're doing fine, man.
Yeah. I've been playing, Battle Op, and if I can remember, play some SRW. If I remember. I'm so far behind on the game. Holy shit. I'm so far behind. Anyway.
It's there, though.
Anyway. I guess how you could also connect with me, I guess hit me my Discord channel, I guess.
Oh my god. It's sorry.
I honestly cannot think of anything else. Oh my gosh, what the hell? Why am I dying?
No big deal, man.
Sometimes shilling makes you break out in hives, man. Don't.
Oh yeah. I can't think of anything.
I'm allergic to shields.
I guess if you see my channel, follow it. I guess I have no idea. I'm not really good at
Oops, got out.
Well then.
But yeah, I will.
Software's like posting links in chat, man. What the fuck? Sorry, go.
But yeah.
Oh yeah. To you guys looking in. But hey, I do want to put them on commands. You up?
There you go. But I'll be putting everybody's information though in the description of the YouTube video, by the way, so you can find that there. But as for me, I'm GndmManiac. Stream on Twitch, do some YouTube stuff. Just search Magnum on YouTube to find me there. On Twitch, it's /EG_Magnum. And I play pretty much anything from ARPGs, MMOs, RTS games, whatever I can get my hands on that I like. I pretty much like games. I've been gaming since before I can remember. I've got proof. There's a tape of me when I was 2 beating Super Mario World. Just saying.
How many flutes did you use? Sorry, go ahead. How many flutes did you use? Go ahead.
Well, no. World, not
my
3,
bad.
not 3.
Sorry.
World.
Sorry.
But I did do that too when I was like 3 or something, and with flutes and without. But anyway, point being though, I also have other social media stuff that I'm trying to get used to doing the Twitters and the tweet. And yeah, so most of that information and links is in right under the Twitch channel. I got a Discord, and yeah, come out, hang out there. If you want to add any channels to it, just put that in the request section, and we'll see about it. And yeah, check it out. But like I said, gonna be putting this up on YouTube. So if you are watching this on YouTube, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that. Let us know what you think. And yeah, peace.
Until
Coming
next time.
soon.
Coming soon.